Welcome back, everyone. Today we are starting a new journey where a loser found a mysterious egg and hatched a waifu dragon. Today's like goal is 500 likes, and I know you guys will reach it in no time. So smash that like button and let's dive into the story. It was a world where elements of virtual gaming have merged with reality, various new professions have evolved, and people can change their professions to gain more powerful abilities. There are countless ruins and dungeons along with numerous mysterious realms, and most importantly, the world is now overrun with dangerous monsters who can kill anyone before they can even think of escape. Individuals can also obtain experience points, materials, and even equipment to strengthen themselves by hunting monsters. However, no matter how fearsome the monsters were, they are pale when compared to the awe-inspiring existence of the almighty dragons. Mysterious yet rare, they were powerful like deities. We come to the third school of the Dragon Kingdom, where the teacher was slapping the board with all his might, on which it was written that the junior year section 25 Professions Awakening orientation was happening. The teacher told the students that the professional awakening ceremony will not only affect their ability to pass the university entrance exam, but it will also relate to their future success. Some students were busy by themselves, while some were listening to the teacher, while he said that in theory, the result of profession awakening is randomly determined, but still everyone must have confidence in themselves. According to the teacher, as long as the students had strong determination, each one of them can awaken a combative profession. Among the students, there was someone with long hair and hidden eyes who looked at his desk onto a paper on which it was written that they were giving the profession awakening aptitude test. The boy smiled as he knew that his day has finally come. He was none other than Lu Fan, a person who was transmigrated to that world from a place called Blue Planet 3 years ago. During these 3 years, he had gained a fairly clear understanding of that world. There were many kinds of professions which can be roughly categorized into 3 types. At the top of them were the combative professionals, which included warriors, mages, archers, and so on. They had powerful abilities which they used to explore unknown realms, obtain equipment, and receive generous rewards. Due to this, the combat professionals were the most coveted ones. The next category was the reinforcing professionals, such as enchanters, alchemists, and so on. They can create special items with powerful effects. However, since purchasing materials incurred significant expenses, they cannot nurture their talent without the support of a large family. The bottom of the pyramid were subsistence professions such as chefs, herbalists, miners, etc. Mysterious yet rare, they were powerful like deities. Those professions are the future for the majority of people who were ordinary individuals and worked hard and strived to make a living. Lu's Aunt Han Ki is a chef. She toils hard daily, supporting Lu's education with her small steamed bun shop. Even when she was only 8 years older than him, she still supported him selflessly. Lu decided that in order to survive in the world and to provide better life for his aunt, he must awaken as a combative professional. Suddenly the teacher's phone rang, and he was now in a hurry, telling the students that he just received news that the awakening platform has been built. That meant that the awakening ceremony was about to begin. A cheer ran through the class as they finally knew that it was time for them to shine. Everyone was hurrying towards the awakening platform, but Lu was still sitting in the corner. The teacher came towards him and asked him if something was wrong. According to the teacher, as Lu was the top student of their section, there was no need to be anxious. But the reason was completely different. Lu has suddenly awakened a system which congratulated him and told him that he has got the super treasure map system, which was finally activated. Lu was not able to understand what was happening, but suddenly the teacher slammed on the desk, surprising Lu and making the system disappear. Seeing that the teacher was worried, Lu ran towards the awakening platform while telling his teacher to not worry for him. While jumping down the stairs, he knew that it was about time for a transmigrator to get a system. But due to the disturbance of the teacher, he was not able to understand about the use his system had. He thought to think about it later, because right now he had the carrier ceremony, which was more important for him. As the students reached the awakening platform, they were awestruck by looking at the crystal in the middle, which was used in the awakening ceremony. They were all nervous, but the teacher told them to maintain silence. As Lu entered the hustle and bustle of the students, he heard someone who was saying that it would be great if he would awaken a hidden combative profession, because then he will become a powerful person, admired by millions. But another one of his friends told him to wake up from his dream because hidden combative professions were rare in the entire school. Instead of that, he was just happy if he could end up with a subsistence profession by praying to his ancestors. The Grand Master stood onto the podium while telling the students that the awakening ceremony was about to begin. He signaled towards a priest who was there to host that year's awakening ceremony. The students were baffled by the domineering aura of the priest wishing to get to that power level as well. Lu was surprised by the aura of the combative professional, because it was truly on another level. Suddenly, the system popped up, telling Lu that he has acquired a new skill, the Eye of Appraisal. As he clicked into the icon which showed the priest, he knew that the priest was a level 29 professional with the skill of professional awakening, and he had a net worth of 5 million dragon coins. Seeing the net worth of the priest, Lu was shook to the core. But suddenly the headmaster screamed at the students to be quiet, as the awakening ceremony has already started. He told the students to come up to the stage as soon as their names were called. Meanwhile, Lu was still thinking that even if his aunt sold buns for their entire life, she would not be able to earn that much money. The headmaster started calling out the names of the students one by one. The first was Zhang Tao, who was the top student of their section. Lu wondered if Tao will awaken as a combative professional. The students started talking that, as his attributes were so freaking high, he would definitely awaken as a combative professional. Even when the awakenings were completely random, it was seen that the higher the attributes of the individual, the more chances he will have to awaken as a combative professional. All the girls were dying for Zhang Tao, telling him that they loved him. As Zhang got up to the stage, the priest started enchanting the spells, and as the orb started glowing, a fireball emerged from it, signifying that Zhang Tao has awakened as a pyromancer. The students were now baffled, knowing that they had a wonderful pyromancer among them. They got so envious of him because he has now got a bright future ahead. Zhang Tao smirked as he materialized a fireball into his hands, while the girls somehow found him more attractive, screaming at him and asking him to go on a date with them. Following this, Lu understood that once he awakened as a combative professional, he can say goodbye to his distressed life. The headmaster was annoyed by all this chatter and screamed at the students once again to be silent while ordering the next student to come fast at the stage. As the professional awakening ceremony continued, students awakened professions like the herbalists, tailor, miner, and so on. Lu was experiencing firsthand that the combative professions were indeed a minority, and the majority of students still would end up with subsistence professions. Awakening as a combative profession signifies unlimited possibilities for the future of the students. While most people awaken as subsistence professionals and the movement they do so, they are destined to live an ordinary life. A student ahead of Lu told him that even if the students awakened the subsistence profession, it was still considered a good outcome. They looked at Li Ping from Section 3, whose family was already struggling, and now she had awakened as a reinforcing professional who would need a lot of money to practice. For her, it would have been better to awaken as a subsistence professional so that she could have at least gained some specialized skills. As Lu looked at the girl, he became nervous because his family was also struggling, and if he ended up with a reinforcing profession, he is done for. But as Lu turned around, he saw that the headmaster was calling his name, asking him to get to the platform fast. As Lu walked towards the pedestal, all the girls were noticing his looks, thinking that our boy was indeed handsome. They wondered about what profession he will awaken. As Lu reached the crystal, he knew that at that point, being nervous was useless. As he put his hands onto the crystal, the priest started enchanting his spells once again. Suddenly, Lu got a vision of a red dragon, glaring at him with his burning yellow eyes. Meanwhile, all the students were now in shock because the land has suddenly started shaking. They were not able to comprehend about what was going on as golden light gleamed from the awakening crystal, which surrounded Lu from all the sides. The students witnessed a dragon materializing and coming out of the light. The student and teachers knew that this phenomenon only occurred when a hidden profession appeared. The students and teachers were not able to believe that Lu has awakened a hidden profession, and a female teacher congratulated teacher Lai because his suction produced the first hidden professional in their school. Even the teacher knew that if Lu awakens as the strongest hidden professional like Dragon Blood Warrior or David Invok Mai, he can become a new powerhouse in the Dragon Kingdom and can make his own history. We see a magnificent red dragon onto the screens engulfed in red fierce flames, while Teacher Lai told the lady that it had been 10 years since someone awakened as a dragon blood warrior, and he even became a top-tier expert in the Dragon Kingdom. The teacher was happy, thinking that Lu can awaken as a dragon blood warrior as well. Meanwhile, the dragon looked at Lu and roared at him. Due to the impact of its voice, the students covered themselves not to get harmed, and as the dragon flew away and dematerialized, the headmaster came running towards Lu, instantly asking him if he had awakened the dragon blood warrior or Dovidin Vokmai. But to everyone's surprise, Lu sighed and told the headmaster that he was now a dragon tamer. Everyone was shocked to the core, and the headmaster was not able to comprehend about how the outcome of such a grand spectacle be awakening as a dragon tamer. He screamed at Lu, along with other students, telling them that the dragon tamer was the most worthless profession ever in history. After the awakening ceremony was finished, Lu was walking in the old town of Zhonghai City, along with his system popped up onto the side. He was now a dragon tamer of level 10 with a skill which contained dragons and dragon-like creatures. He looked at his net worth, which was just 239. Lu was getting the flashbacks, where the students and the teacher were not able to believe that he had awakened as a dragon tamer. They thought that Lu was destined to be a mediocre because there was no way that the humans can possibly tame powerful creatures such as dragons. Even when Lu awakened a hidden profession, it was the weakest when it came to practical applicability. Some students didn't know about why the teachers were saying so and asked other students about why the dragon tamer profession was the weakest, even when it was one of the 3 major hidden professions alongside the dragon blood warrior and Dovidin Bok mage. Another student told him that most people would not even find dragons, and even when they could, there was no way that they could tame them because of their dangerous behavior. The headmaster was also disappointed and patted onto the shoulders of Lu, telling him that it was all right, and even when it was the weakest, a dragon tamer was still a hidden profession with boundless potential. The headmaster guessed that maybe Lu would be able to tame some sub-dragon species and become stronger. It was no use because Lu also knew that without a dragon tamer cannot have boundless potential. Sub-dragon species were also nothing but mere ferocious beasts, nothing compared to the actual dragons. We come to know that in the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom, dragons have indeed appeared, but a dragon tamer who has actually tamed dragons has never existed. No matter how powerful the humans were, they were like mere ants in front of the dragon's ferocious fire. Lu knew that wanting to tame a giant dragon was nothing but an unrealistic dream. He looked at his system where his skills were locked up because he hadn't tamed a dragon yet. Lu was disappointed because his aunt was working so hard to support his education, but he cannot even provide her with a better life now. As he looked in front of him, Lu was already in front of his house, without even realizing it. He fixed his mood and got a fake smile onto his face as he entered the house telling his aunt that he was back. Man, this one looks a little more all-rounder. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The moment she looked at Lu, she immediately leaped onto him while hugging him happily, telling Lu that he was finally back. She asked Lu about how his day has went because that day was supposed to be the most fantastic day of his life. She wanted to know about the profession that Lu awakened. Hearing this, Lu was disappointed on himself, but seeing that, his aunt immediately told him that it was okay if Lu didn't awaken a combat profession, because then it would have worried his aunt when she would knew that her precious Lu was outside, fighting every day. Lu interrupted her loudly by saying that he indeed awakened a combat profession and become a dragon tamer, but the catch was that he could not do anything without taming the dragons. Hearing this, Lu's aunt was delighted, telling him that it does not matter if he was a dragon tamer without a dragon, because it still showed that Lu was really strong. She stood up from her seat and hugged Lu once again, telling him that if he can get into the college in the future, his aunt will still continue to support him. She even gave Lu the option that if he didn't want to join a college, he can still join her in running the steamed bun shop instead. Hearing that, Lu was delighted and looked at his aunt in tears, but she told him to not fret too much about it as dinner was getting cold. Lu finally looked at all the things his aunt prepared, knowing that he can't finish all of it alone. After finishing the dinner, Lu slammed down onto his bed, while thinking that even when his aunt was only 26 years old, She was working in a livelihood profession for so many years. Lu remembered her aunt's hand full of cuts and bruises, regretting that he was not even able to change her ordinary life. He wanted to live a better life with his aunt, but there was no way that it can possibly happen if Lu did not do anything as the dragon tamer. He slammed his fists onto the bed multiple times, while thinking that just with a dragon tamer would really be a hidden profession. But he didn't know where to find a dragon now, did he? In the next moment, a notification popped up, congratulating Lu for receiving the first day's treasure map. As Lu looked at the screen, he was shocked to know that he has got a divine-level treasure map on the first day. But then something stuck into his mind, and he remembered that his system was called the Super Treasure Map System when it activated. Even at the awakening ceremony, Lu had only tried his appraisal function, but not the treasure map feature. As he clicked onto the treasure map icon, the system started telling him that a treasure map can be classified into 4 categories: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and divine level. The system can even be used to combine 3 identical low-level treasure maps into one high-level treasure map. A notification popped up, telling Lu that every day he will receive a randomly graded and randomly located treasure map. It even added that as long as Lu got to the location, he can find the treasure related to his corresponding profession. Something stuck into Lu's mind instantly as he read those words. Treasures related to corresponding profession meant that Lu can become a dragon tamer with a dragon. He understood that as long as he can make good use of his system, there was a chance for him to bridge the gap between the weakest and the strongest. In other words, the divine-level treasure map was Lu's last hope to turn the tide into his favor. He knew that if he gave up now, he will live at the bottom of the society for the rest of his life. He was determined and clicked onto the divine treasure map, deciding that he must go wherever the map takes him. A big regional map popped up, telling Lu that the treasure was in Mount Shibaisen. He knew that Shibaisen was not too far from Shanghai City, and if he caught the last suburban bus at night, he can arrive there early in the morning. As time passed and early morning arrived, Lu's aunt woke up while yawning into her nightdress. She turned on the light just to look at a note which was placed onto the dining table. She looked at Lu's room, but he was not present there. As the scene shifts, we see that there was a bus traveling in between the large mountains. The aunt started reading the letter, which told her that Lu was going to Mount Shibaisen for doing something that might be the only chance to change the fate of a dragon tamer. He told his aunt to not worry, as he will return soon. As the bus arrived at the train station and Lu climbed down from the bus, few suspicious individuals got behind him. Not knowing about those suspicious individuals, Lu was determined that he will live a good life no matter what. He looked at the outskirts of Mount Shibaisen, which looked like a barren land. Suddenly, someone slammed onto the travel backpack of Lu, and as he turned around, he saw a muscular guy along with a small girl who was looking at Lu with suspicious eyes. Lu jumped back and immediately put his hand onto the weapon he has got. But someone caught his shoulder from behind, asking him if he wanted to go together with them. As Lu looked behind him, he saw an old-looking man with an eye patch on his right eye. He shook off the man's hand immediately. While telling them that he will not go with them, Lu knew that these guys could be dungeon robbers. The girl took out a knife from her pocket while asking Lu to think about it once again. The eye patch man told him that it was dangerous to be alone in the wilderness at the night. Looking at them, Lu realized that those guys must be stealing and robbing materials from quite a while. He knew that dealing with someone as powerless as Lu should be a piece of cake for the robber group. The muscular guy clenched his fists, and the girl licked her knife, while the eye patch man asked Lu once again if he had made up his mind or not. Lu immediately took a defensive stance, knowing that the robbers has figured it out, that he was powerless. Lu calmed down and answered that he did not need them to travel along. The group was still trying to convince Lu, telling him that he did not understand the rules of the wilderness and the dangers in a night are far greater than he can imagine. Even Lu understood that he did not have any skills at his disposal right now, so he must avoid fighting at all costs. Thinking that, Lu lied to the group, telling them that he was a summoner and did not need any companions, because if there would be a dangerous situation, summoning elemental creatures can solve it. The men of the group were surprised by this answer, and the eye patch man said that if Lu was a summoner, then the concerns of their group towards his safety was unnecessary. He turned around and told the other two to also come with him. The girl ran towards Lu, whispering into his ears that she hoped that they will meet again, sometime addressing Lu as a handsome boy. She told her goodbyes to Lu while giving him a flying kiss, but the chart of nervousness was of the roof for Lu, as he thought that even when it was dangerous in the wilderness, it was still much safer and better than being stabbed in the back by dungeon robbers. That day, he understood that a life without strength was a fleeting shadow, easily overtaken by the winds of fate. He looked at the map onto his system and decided to set off quickly. As he walked into the wild, he looked at a group of powerhorn horses. They were horse-like creatures of level 8 with immense strength who are grazing onto an open field. Lu knew that even when the powerhorn horses don't actively attack humans, if somehow they will get disturbed, Lu would not be a match for them. He decided to not disturb the powerhorn horses and to take a detour instead. Even when Lu was taking a longer route for safety reasons, he was not feeling safe at all because he had encountered a group of giant horn antelopes. He was walking slowly and cautiously, but as he did not look below his feet, he mistakenly put his leg onto a frog who croaked in pain with all its might. Hearing that, all the antelopes were suddenly looking at Lu as they screamed in anger for getting disturbed. Lu was eventually getting chased by the giant horn antelopes as he ran and ran in the hopes of getting away from them. He noticed a plain ground on the side of him. He immediately jumped to his sides, crashing down onto the ground, somehow able to save himself. As he looked the frog he put his leg on, he saw that the creature was the prey of the running stampede of the antelopes. He was disappointed as he thought that he cannot even handle a timid giant horn antelope in his current state. Lu knew that if he missed the opportunity he caught that day, his fate will be like of that same frog. Finally, a notification popped up telling Lu that he has arrived at the designated treasure map location. As Lu looked ahead, there were 2 giant rocks and a faint red glow was coming out from the other side of them. He understood that the rocks were indeed the indication of the location provided by the treasure map. As he walked into a cave formation of the rocks, he looked at a pitch-black egg, which was huge in size. He knew that this treasure can change the fate of the dragon Tamer because it was none other than a dragon egg, which was cracking slowly. The system popped up telling Lu that it was a black dragon egg with an unidentified level. As he heard the cracking sound, Lu understood that the dragon was about to be born. But in the next moment, Lu heard some noise coming from the long grass behind him. He immediately took his cleaver out onto his hands, knowing that everything has gone smoothly along the way, but he cannot escape the nose of a wild beast. He immediately turned around and slashed the beast, who was none other than a bloodthirsty gray fox. The creature was able to stop Lu's attack by grabbing his cleaver onto its giant canines. The creature howled and attacked Lu with all his might, but somehow Lu was able to deflect and throw him onto the ground. Lu took some deep breaths, recovering his stamina. As he looked onto the appraisal window, he saw that the bloodthirsty gray fox had got a triple claw strike and bloodthirst recovery. The creature can use a triple hit combo to make the target bleed and recover its health through bloodthirst recovery. Lu looked behind him at the dragon egg, which was going to hatch at any moment now. Lu knew that he didn't have much time or skills to deal with the creature. He thought that maybe he can stall the fox until the dragon hatches and then use his dragon taming ability. But the fox has already lived onto Lu and was into the air ready to attack him. Lu instinctively took out his hand to defend himself from the attack. He realized that the fox was too fast and he can't wait for the dragon to hatch. Due to his hand onto the front, Lu was injured by the huge and sharp claws of the fox and decided that he cannot let the fox use the bloodthirst recovery. Lu had to deal with it when it prepares for the triple claw strike. Lu had already got 1 strike and 2 were still left. Lu blocked the second one with his cleaver and somehow dodged the third one by moving to the side. Now it was finally Lu's chance. He slammed his cleaver straight onto the head of the bloodthirst gray fox. As blood splattered all around the monster, Lu took out his cleaver from the creature's head. A notification popped up telling him that he had defeated a bloodthirsty gray fox and was rewarded 120 experience points for it. Lu was out of breath but was now calm because he got rid of the monster. But suddenly, 3 shadows appeared behind of him, laughing loudly and complimenting Lu for taking the beast down. They were none other than the group of robbers telling Lu that he was impressive. Lu took a defensive stance again, telling the group to stop following him since he had already said that he will not join them. The girl started laughing while telling Lu that there was no need to be so nervous. The girl knew that Lu deceived their group. The eye patch man made Lu remember that he told them that he was a summoner, but he didn't even use any summoning skills and got injured by a monster like this. Lu was now in a fix knowing that he was figured out from top to bottom by the robbers group. He immediately kicked the body of the fox monster towards the group, telling them that if they wanted the fox fur, they can take it and stop bothering Lu. But as the lifeless monster crashed at their feet, the eye patch man laughed while telling Lu that he was interesting. He picked up the fox fur, telling Lu that this was only worth 80 dragon coins, but they did not come here for just that small amount. They were actually after the divine treasure too. Lu immediately understood that the group had saw him looking for the dragon egg, but as he looked around, the muscular man and the woman were already running towards him with an intention to harm him. The muscular guy punched Lu with all his might, and he was slammed down with his cleaver thrown into the air. Lu crashed intensely a few meters away from the robbers, but as he opened his eyes, he saw that the lady was laying down on him with her knife onto Lu's throat. She told him to not move, or he will get scratched by her knife. The eye patch man told Lu that he underestimated the dungeon robber's sense of smell for treasures. The muscular man ran towards the dragon egg and asked the other members to have a look at what he found. Lu saw his plan failing in front of his eyes, and as the eye patch man was happy for getting the treasure, he ordered the girl to kill Lu instantly. The man ran towards the egg, while the girl told Lu that he was indeed handsome, but she would still have to bid farewell to him. Lu was still not ready to lose his hope. He saw that the dragon egg was almost hatched, and knew that he can't let the robbers take away the dragon from him. Suddenly, the dragon hatching was complete, and something flew out of the egg in an instant, surprising the group to the core. As they looked above their head, they saw a silhouette of a giant dragon, not able to understand about the kind of monster it was who came from the egg. The dragon came raging down at the robbers, and the eye patch guy threw a bottle of some kind of potion at the creature for his defense. The dragon was able to swiftly dodge the bottle and continued with his attack. The muscular guy readied his fists to punch the dragon, but as the creature opened his jaw, it decimated the muscular guy with his ferocious attacks and flames. The eye patch guy was deeply struck into horror as he saw the lifeless head of his muscular companion. He saw that the dragon was looking at him, knowing that his was finally the time for the guy to go to where his muscular companion was. He screamed and screamed for the girl to help him, but she was experiencing fear to her core by seeing the mysterious but dangerous creature. She lowered the knife which was put onto Lu's throat, and as Lu relaxed, he looked at the dragon. He never imagined that even a newly hatched dragon can be so powerful. It was now understandable to him about why people can't tame the mysterious dragons at once. Hearing Lu mentioning a dragon, the girl looked at him in fear, finally knowing that the monster was none other than one of the fabled dragons of the legend. As the girl turned around, she saw the creature who ate both of his companions in one go and was now looking at her in confusion. The girl immediately removed her knife from Lu and put it in front of her in a try to defend herself. But she did not realize that Lu was now free. He slammed the robber onto the side, telling her that the dungeon robber's sense of smell was too dull. He screamed at the girl for attempting to steal the dragon which was rightfully his. Lu immediately ran towards the dragon, even confusing the creature. As he screamed, dragon taming technique. Yellow light started emanating out of his hands. Even the dragon was surprised by what Lu was doing. But as he touched the dragon, the girl behind him asked Lu in fear about who he was. Lu smiled as he asked the girl in surprise if she finally wanted to know who Lu was. He finally told the girl that he was not just a summoner, but instead he was a dragon tamer. A notification popped up telling Lu that the Black Dragon Covenant was now tamed by Lu. The mysterious Black Dragon had the skills named Dragon Claw Dragon Fang Strike and Dragon's Inspiration, As the creature leaped towards the girl, she started apologizing for her behavior to Lu, telling him that she really didn't know that the treasure was actually a dragon egg. But all she saw was a red and black silhouette of Lu and his newly acquired dragon. Lu was furious at the girl for scheming against multiple innocent people. He told the girl that the only thing that she gets was a chance to go join her comrades in the other world. He ordered the dragon to finish her once and for all, and after everything was finished, Lu was finally sitting onto a cliff of the mountain bandaging the hand, which was injured by the fox monster, while the dragon was searching for something into his new master's bag. Finally, Lu picked the dragon up, not able to believe that he finally crossed the gap between the weakest and the strongest of the races. He raised the dragon onto his hand like a kid, telling the creature that it was way too lively. Lu was awestruck by knowing that the dragon was so powerful right after hatching, so it will get stronger and stronger as much as it levels up. Lu tightly hugged his newly acquired dragon, telling the creature that the title of Dragon Tamer will no longer be called the weakest class. But now an important question arose in the mind of Lu. What would he call his newly tamed dragon? He thought of names like Little Coal Ball and Black Diamond, but they were too lame. Finally, Lu noticed that the dragon was licking at his wounds. As the dragon drank, its master's blood-red aura started emanating from the creature. As the dragon opened up his elegant wings, it started transforming into a magnificent girl and was now standing in front of his master. The black dragon has now transformed into a human with a long tail and 2 elegant wings. All right, guys, the waifu is here finally. All hail the waifu Tamer. Lu Fan was shocked by seeing her into this form and understood that the dragon can also transform into a human. As the dragon did not understand human language, she just shook her head to agree with what Lu Fan was saying. The dragon lady was still behaving like a child and was flying here and there. While Lu Fan read about his new unlocked skills, they included dragon taming, which was the ability to tame dragon-like creatures, along with Dragon Claw, which transforms the player's arm into a dragon claw, and its strength depended on the current dragon pet. Another skill was the Dragon Fang Strike, which mobilizes dragon energy to deliver a powerful blow, and last but not the least, the Dragon Inspiration, which inspires the user and the dragon pet and increased all attributes and attack power by 30%. We come to know that the black dragon was a legendary creature. For Lu Fan, it was just as he thought. As soon as he had successfully tamed a dragon, all his skills were unlocked. Lu Fan immediately knew that even if he were to personally act for it, he could easily crush other combat professionals of the same level. Lu Fan clicked onto the black dragon's profile, and her stats were now in front of him. The dragon had the strength of 342 with agility of 267. She had a spirit of 359 with an endurance of 373 and was a legendary creature. She had multiple attacks, including the mighty jaw assault, which swiftly charges forward and tears into the target, causing continuous bleeding damage. She had lava flame, which continuously spurts flames, dealing damage while healing her. She had the Black Dragon Heritage, which reduced all damage taken by 50% and gave immunity to all debuffs, along with 500% increase in self-recovery ability. She had a special skill, which needed a blood pact. It was the Bloodline Connection, which provided a 10% attribute bonus to the Dragon Tamer. Lu Fan was shocked to the core by knowing that there was this much power inside a mere dragon hatchling. Even when he contracted just with a level 1 dragon hatchling, it had these powerful skills and nearly 400 points in various attributes. Even a skilled human expert, who is 20 levels higher than Lu Fan, would not stand a chance against him now, and he would never have to think about the ordinary humans at all. What was more was the Bloodline Connection, which directly doubled all of Lu Fan's attributes. He understood that the Bloodline Connection was the reason. He felt significantly stronger after successfully taming the Black Legendary Dragon. Lu Fan was now very happy, and with her smile onto his face, he thought that it was as expected from one of the 3 strongest hidden professions. No matter how strong a hidden profession may be, it had no chance of winning against the dragon race. And without a doubt, the Dragon Tamer was indeed the strongest hidden profession and not the worst. Just then, he saw the Dragon Lady, who was eating the eggshells from which she hatched from. Lu Fan guessed that although the hatchling can transform into a human, it still behaves like a dragon, and a newborn one at that. But the question was still remaining where it was. What should Lu Fan call the dragon? Suddenly his mind was struck by something, and he remembered that a little black dragon born during the night before dawn should be named Xiao Yi. Even the dragon was delighted when she heard the name and smiled cutely. Lu Fan understood that the dragon was liking her new name. He was happy that even when the treasure hunting was dangerous, it was all worth it. He patted the dragon's head and asked her if she was hungry. Xiao looked towards Lu Fan and nodded with a cute smile. As she finished the remaining eggshells, Lu Fan told her that it was time to go and hunt some monsters to fill her belly, while he was thinking that they cannot just go back home with an empty stomach. Lu Fan stood up and smiled, while thinking that the trial that determines whether he can enter the university is coming soon, and many students must be trying to hone their qualifications by seeking opportunities outside. The prestigious Southern Province's Top Scholar Award and qualification for the highest educational institution in the Dragon Kingdom that Lu Fan wanted to enter into was now within his reach. But he knew that even after what had happened, he could not take the entrance lightly, and leveling up and mastering skills should be the top priority for him and his dragon. Lu Fan started running with a smile, and Xiao was following him with a smile on her face. Lu Fan told Xiao that they were going to set off and head deep into the Mount Shi Basin, as there were monsters there that are even tastier than eggshells for the dragon. As they were advancing, Lu Fan and Xiao suddenly heard some noises. They saw that a group of creatures was running towards them with insane speeds. Lu Fan immediately popped up the system, which told him that they were the plains hyena, and they had the attack of Rending Bite, which inflicted continuous bleeding damage on the target, along with Putrefaction, which inflicted a disease debuff on the target. Once killed, they will drop the canine teeth, which was worth 95 dragon coins. Lu Fan knew that these bastards were more dangerous and tougher than the bloodthirsty gray fox. She also knew that even when he defeated the wild level 10 bloodthirsty gray fox, he also suffered a lot of injuries in the process. Remembering that Lu Fan was hesitant to attack, but the dragon lady was already in the air with a devilish smile on her face as she knew that she is going to get more food. Even Lu Fan understood that the lady wanted to take the lead. His eyes glittered with confidence as he thought that Mount Shibasin was holding no danger at all for the strongest dragon tamer and his dragon. Both Lu Fan and Xiao were smiling and advancing towards the plains hyena, ready to send them inside the dragon's stomach as her meal. The dragon flew high, and as the plains hyena roared, she took a deep breath and her stomach started glowing and giving off a flame aura. Finally, she attacked the hyenas with her lava flame attack, and as the creatures were burning, Lu Fan and the black dragon were earning experience points. As Xiao kept using her lava flame attack, Lu Fan was constantly watching the system, witnessing the increase in their levels. Lu Fan was finally at level 11, and the black dragon was now at level 3. He smiled while ordering Xiao to not waste her time on the small fries. Both of them looked towards a den inside the mountain, and Lu Fan told Xiao that a big guy has been waiting for them for a long time. 3 sets of eyes were giving off a piercing glaze to Lu Fan and her dragon, and finally, the creature came out of hiding. It had 3 heads, and they were clearly showing the killing intent of the monster. It was none other than the 3-headed blood lion, who was a level 25 lion-like creature with multiple attacks, including Roar, which increased defense and attack, Trample, which dealt significant damage within target range, and Triple Flame, which inflicts 3 instances of fire area damage. Upon defeat, the creature will give 23,790 experience points to the player, and will drop materials like Blood Lion's Tooth and Blood Lion's Skin. Lu Fan knew that for a level 25 elite boss typically, it would require a strong team of monster hunters just to approach. But he was a dragon teamer now, and he can do anything. He ordered Xiao to go towards the 3-headed lion to engage with him in a battle. As Lu Fan and Xiao were advancing, the lion used Roar and increased his defense and attack power for a certain period of time. Then he started charging a heavy attack, which was the Triple Flame. Lu Fan knew that this attack required some time to charge, and as he was running, he ordered Xiao to coordinate with him to interrupt the lion's skill. Xiao's body was engulfed in flame, and Lu Fan was now ready with his cleaver in his hand. Both of them jump towards the three-headed lion, and we see that the dragon was transformed into his original form while using the mighty jaw assault. The black dragon immediately closed the gap between the creature and herself and finally bit the creature onto his face while clenching the other two heads with her sharp claws. The system finally told Lu Fan that the triple flame attack was interrupted successfully. He complimented his dragon for the good work she did and finally attacked with his cleaver while using the Dragon Fang strike, which mobilized Dragon Aura to unveil a powerful strike with the current weapon. With this final blow, the creature was dropped dead onto the ground, and both Lu Fan and the dragon jumped back at their place. The dragon was now again transformed into her human form, while Lu Fan was surprised by knowing that the elite monsters really helped him level up quickly. Lu Fan was now at level 14, and the dragon was now at level 9. Suddenly, the system notification popped up telling Lu Fan that the treasure map system was triggered, and a new treasure map for the day has been sent to him. Seeing that, a faint smile appeared onto Lu Fan's face as he wondered about what exclusive item for dragon tamers will this treasure lead to. He ordered Zio to come with him for the treasure hunting, and the dragon lady immediately agreed to her master's command with a smile. Hit that like button as today's like aim is 500 likes.
Also subscribe for more with the notification bell on.
As the scene shifts, we come deep within the Mount Shibaisen. A group of 3 people was standing in that area, while the blue-haired girl asked the uncle if they should really let such a rare opportunity slide away from them. But the uncle told the girl that they did not have a choice. We come to know that the uncle was named Sanji, who was a warrior. He told the lady that the fortuitous realm required at least 5 people to activate, and they did not have enough people to open it. He suggested sending Miss Kai back to Zhanghai City to bring more people. But he was interrupted by another lady who was the Miss Kai the uncle was talking about. She was a rogue and told the uncle that whatever he was planning would not work because even with her agility, a round trip would take a day. We come to know that the blue-haired girl was Kin Q, and her profession was not yet known to us. She told everyone that the fortuitous realms appear randomly, and the rewards were higher than the regular dungeons. But the problem was that they only existed for 24 hours, and the uncle's plan was not able to be completed on time before the closing of the dungeon. Sanji consoled Kin that she did not have to worry about gains and losses like the secret realms, because depending on her strength as long as she enters the top 10 universities, they themselves will provide the girl with secret realms. But Kin was still sad and told the uncle that it was such a pity that they were near the secret realm but have 1 member less. Suddenly Sanji heard something along with the rogue girl and immediately turned around ready to attack. But they were surprised to see Lu Fan, who told them to not be nervous because he was just passing by the mountain. The uncle was shocked to the core by seeing such a young boy deep into Mount Shibaisen. He told Lu Fan that the place was not meant for material hunting and that he should go back. But Kin immediately stopped the uncle between his talk and told Lu Fan that the group was the part of the Kin family in Zhanghai City and her name is Kin Q. Even when she knew that it might be a bit abrupt, she asked Lu Fan if he wanted to team up her group temporarily. The girl even tried to tempt Lu Fan by telling him that he did not have to do anything and just enter the secret realm of chance with the group, and when it would be done, Lu Fan will be paid a reward of 100,000 dragon coins. Hearing the prize, Lu Fan immediately stopped on his tracks and started considering the offer. He knew that if even the Kin family, who was the family of the richest man in Zhanghai City, was after the secret realm of chance, then the final reward must be very rare. The girl was still talking and told Lu Fan that they just needed help to gather the number of people required by the secret realm, and he did not have to do anything, and just get his 100,000 dragon coins. As the scene shifts, we see that the group of the lady had 3 people before, but they have already gathered a paladin with themselves, but they were still 1 member short. The uncle was walking towards a huge purplish portal, which goes towards the secret realm, while he told Lu Fan to follow him quickly if he wanted the reward. He even told Lu Fan that it was such a rare chance that he could not encounter it casually like this again. Lu Fan smiled at the offer and told everyone that he did not have much interest in money, but he was ready to help if the group can cooperate and follow the rules of distribution. The uncle along with the 2 ladies were shocked to hear those words coming out from a young boy. The Rouge Lady immediately understood that Lu Fan was trying to say that he wanted to distribute the rewards in the secret realm based on their strength, and hearing that even Lu Fan confirmed that this was what he wanted. Hearing that, Qin was deep in thoughts, while she thought that the whole group's average level was around level 20, and Lu Fan was even looking weaker than all of them. But still, he was so confident. The lady was not able to comprehend if the guy was just really confident on his skills, or was just an arrogant brat. But the group desperately needed one more guy for them to enter the secret realm of chance. So Qin smiled while she put her hand forward and told Lu Fan that since he wanted to cooperate, then they should form a team in a cooperative way. She even told Lu Fan that the 100,000 dragon coins, which were promised previously, were still going to be his prize, because the group just to show sincerity to him. Lu Fan smiled while he shook the lady's hand and agreed to this deal. Finally, after the deal, Qin was happy and excited now, as she told everyone to get moving as fast as they can. But Lu Fan was having something else in his mind. He thought that exposing his legendary dragon Zio's identity in front of strangers in the wilderness will only bring trouble to them. So he decided to summon the dragon lady out after he got the reward from the secret realm of chance. He even felt sorry for the dragon, but was not having any choice. Finally, Lu Fan got inside the portal behind everyone and arrived at the secret realm of chance. As soon as he set his foot inside the secret realm, he saw a dark and desolated place with lifeless trees and a dense fog of purple color, which was spread all around them. A system notification popped up telling Lu Fan that he was in the secret realm of chance and was standing in the Morning Village, which was a level 20 realm with solid difficulty and had a restriction that only people at least in a group of 5 can enter inside. Watching the eerie atmosphere all around them, Qin told everyone that this village was so quiet that they can hear only their own voices. The assassin lady analyzed the environment and told everyone that the air was so heavy and there was no sign of life in the fog which surrounded them. Meanwhile, Sun Ji was worried for Lu Fan, asking him to stay careful as he was empty-handed and did not have any equipment. But the uncle wasn't ready for a surprise. Lu Fan smiled while raising his hand up, and a kind of flaming aura started surrounding him. Suddenly, a big black machete with dragon scales materialized into his hands, and the system notification popped up telling us that it was an epic quality weapon with no level requirement for using it. It can only be used by dragon tamers and dragon blood warriors, and it even had the skill to give the user the dragon blood armor, which partially transforms the user into a dragon, increasing the power of dragon transformation. It even increased the strength by 65 and stamina by 30. Lu Fan thanked the advanced treasure map that happened to be triggered after defeating the 3-headed bloodlion, as it gave him the opportunity to replace his novice machete into this legendary weapon. Everyone was shocked to see this sudden revelation, and Sun Ji asked Lu Fan if he was a newly transferred student rather than a material hunter, because his weapon looked extraordinary. But the assassin lady was getting pissed off and asked the uncle about why did he care so much about a stranger. Everything was clear in her mind, and if Lu Fan had any evil intentions, she was confident that she will subdue him immediately. Suddenly, Sun Ji was surprised as a hand came out from the ground all of a sudden and startled him. They were none other than the corrupt zombies of level 15, which would give 620 experience points along with corruption poison sac and 256 dragon coins upon killing. They had some dangerous attacks, which included hug and bite, which entangles and scratches the target, and continue to bite along with corpse poison, which was the poison into each and every attack of the zombie, which can cause the target to continue losing life points. Even the targets who die under the effect of corpse poison will become corrupt zombies themselves. Qin told the uncle to be careful as a horde of corrupt zombies came out from the ground beneath them and were ready to attack and infect the group with their corpse poison. But the paladin immediately put forward his shield and blocked the incoming attack of each and every corrupt zombie. A status window pops up and we see that he was Jia, who had a fighting profession and was a level 20 knight. The uncle backed down and stood along with the assassin lady, while he complimented Jia for his instant help and counterattack. He himself had the combat profession and was a level 28 warrior. He hacked and slashed all the corrupt zombies coming in his way, along with the rogue lady, who was also a level 28 rogue. Newfan was watching the whole fight as everything was pop up into his system window, while he thought that the warrior, the rogue, and the knight who were guarding the portal was a very reasonable configuration and strategy, especially for the uncle. Because he was a level 28 warrior who was about to change his profession for the second time. Suddenly, Kin raised her staff in the air, and yellow aura started surrounding her all over, Lighty raising her up from the ground as she was chanting some spells and charging her attack. Finally, she attacked with her Holy Light Star Rain attack, which gathered energy and sent out a starlight rain towards the enemies, which caused holy damage to them within the range, and also healed the allied targets by the amount of damage received by the zombies. Everyone witnessed multiple meteorite-styled attacks, and Sanji, along with the rogue lady, immediately dodged the incoming attack, while all the zombies were now preyed to Kin's huge area of effect attack, which decimated them and left no trace. She smiled while she told Lu Fan that this was his profession. We come to know that Kin also had the hidden profession of the Holy Light Mage, which can combine attack and healing together. Even when the attack damage was lower than that of a mage, and the treatment was not as good as of a priest. It can do both of them at once, which was helpful for the team in many ways. The notification popped up telling Lu Fan that Kin was a white-level hidden professional, the Holy Light Mage. Even Lu Fan was surprised by realizing that he just met another hidden professional in such a short span of time. He even complimented the holy damage of the girl, which was very effective against the zombies. But the silence was short-lived as everyone felt an earthquake below their feet and somehow balanced themselves. Lu Fan realized that due to all the commotion, some elite monsters were alarmed and were now coming towards the whole group. Listening to the sounds of their steps, Lu Fan knew that they were quite a few in number. Suddenly, a blood-red hand came out of the ground, and the system notification told Lu Fan that they were blood zombies of level 20, which can give 840 experience points, along with blood corpse poison sac and 90 dragon coins upon killing. These zombies had blood-sucking bite, which entangles, scratches, and bites the target, causing damage to them and healing the zombies at the same time. They also had corpse poison, which was inside their each and every attack, along with a new attack of blood fury, which allowed them to enter a violent state and increase their strength and agility by 40%. Even these zombies started to slowly come out from the ground because they wanted to kill the whole group of living beings present in front of them. Sunji was alarmed when he looked at the elite monsters coming at him and told the rogue lady to protect Kin and Lu Fan while he ordered Jia to come with him because they can't let these pieces of rotten meats break through the front row. Even Jia stopped the fight he was taking on and immediately followed the leader's command. Both of them were ready with their heavy attacks, and Sunji used his full moon onto a blood zombie, splitting his hand from his undead body. Meanwhile, Jia also used his sword to thrust it where the zombie's heart should be, giving them lethal damage. Or at least they thought so. Sunji screamed at Jia, asking him if he can draw his weapon out or not, but both of them were now in shock as they saw that the zombies were smiling and were not even showing a hint of damage that they took. Suddenly, Jia saw that the blood zombies started to absorb both of their weapons inside them. They smiled and laughed frantically while growing big in size as they activated the corpse poison, which started infecting the group with the poison and healed the zombies in the process. Jia was not able to comprehend about how this was possible, and even Kin was in shock, telling everyone that the cop's poison requires the priest's clarity to remove it from the body, and she can't do so, thus meaning that she was unable to help anyone. Meanwhile, the zombie's growth was not stopping and was now engulfing the knight's hand inside of them, also inflicting him with the corpse poison damage, which was increasing by every second. Jia was now desperate and screamed in pain while asking all of them to come and help him. He told Sunji to release his weapon quickly, otherwise he will get infected too. And after doing just that, Sunji ran towards the knight in the hope of saving him. He ordered the rogue lady to come to the front row and defend him from the blood zombies, while he pulled out the knight from the grasp of the muscular blood zombie. But she was not able to help them because she was busy fending off zombies, which were trying to make her like them too. Suddenly, they heard Lu Fan's voice, who told Sunji and the knight to chill out and let the lady continue to fight. We see that one of Lu Fan's eyes was glowing with a crimson red color as he had the epic machete in his hand, ready to slay all the monsters. Sunji wanted Lu Fan to get out of the way of the red blood zombies, thinking that he will be brutally damaged if he did not do so. But Lu Fan has an intense determination in his eyes as he used his legendary ink dragon machete and immediately attacked the blood zombie's throat with yellow flaming aura surrounding him all over, along with his legendary weapon. Everyone was shocked to the core by seeing this phenomenon unfold, and the most shocked among them was Sunji, who was not able to believe that. Lu Fan was able to defeat the zombie. On the other hand, he was returning Sunji his sword while telling him to not back down and keep moving forward with a smile on his face. But the uncle ignored that and immediately asked Lu Fan about how high his level was exactly because it was impossible for a newly transferred student to have such high attack power. But there were more important things in hand. The paladin, Little Gia, was gravely wounded, and Qin immediately came towards him while telling him to hang in there as he's going to get healed. Lu Fan and smiled with the dragon aura emanating from one of his eyes. While he told Sunji that he was a normal level 14 student, and there was no need for him to lie to anyone about that. He told everyone that he just came to Mount Shibaisan for doing some practice for the great exam. Qin was healing Little Gia while he heard these words coming out from the stranger, and realized that Lu Fan was a student from the same year as her. She was not able to comprehend about how a level 14 student actually had higher attack power than the uncle who was level 28. But suddenly, a red blood zombie attacked the lady from behind with a gruesome smile on its face. The rogue lady jumped in between their way with her crossbow while telling Qin to watch out. But to her surprise, the one he threatened to subdue was even faster than her and immediately got to the zombie, pinning it down to the wall with and lethally wounding the creature with his legendary machete. As he took out his weapon from the blood zombie, Lu Fan told everyone that the level of zombies in the village will only get higher and higher. He proposed an offer to them that he will fill the gap in the front row and ask them if they were okay with this decision. Sunji was thinking about this offer, while the ladies remembered a rumor about a person in the Jiangai city and wondered if that person was none other than Lu Fan. Qin smiled while telling him that they will count on him from this point on, and if he and the uncle lead the team in the front, the lady can take care of Little Gia and the rogue lady will cover the rear. She even informed Lu Fan that the secret realm guardian should be in the village. Hearing that Lu Fan told the group his name and started getting ahead of everyone while signaling them to come fast and go deeper into the realm. But hearing the name was a great shock to the whole group, as what they thought was indeed true, and Lu Fan was the rumored hidden class dragon tamer that recently awakened. But Qin was still not able to comprehend about how the dragon tamer was so strong when it was the weakest class. As the scene shifts, we see that Lu Fan and the others were now at the center of the village and were killing each and every blood zombie coming to their way. Lu Fan was fighting while he thought that Qin's profession cannot remove the corpse poison, and the teleportation gate only appears after defeating the secret realm guardian. Lu Fan realized that they have to hurry, or Little Gia will die in the secret realm as the corpse poison spreads, and then he might even turn into a zombie. But the rogue lady wondered about why there was no trace of the secret realm guardian even in the center of the village. Little Gia noticed that some zombies were circling Sunji from behind, and there was a rustling sound coming from the debris behind him. He mustered up all the strength he had and yelled at the uncle to watch out as he dropped down onto the ground and fainted. Seeing this, Qin ran towards him while yelling at him to hang in there. But then a red beam of light started shining above the group from the debris. As they turned around, they saw a huge iron-skinned zombie with multiple heads and one main red eye which was coming towards them with insane speeds. We come to know that the iron-skinned zombie was a level 20 monster, which gave 40 dragon coins upon defeat, along with 13,720 experience. It had the corpse poison attack, along with assimilation absorption, which absorbs the poison target and merges with itself, increasing the zombie's maximum HP. It even had steel skin, which made the iron zombie enter into an iron skin state, which increased its defense and endurance by 40%. The purple-head lady gasped as she knew that the secret realm guardian has appeared in front of them. Seeing the iron-skinned zombie, Lu Fan understood that Little Gia's corpse poison has worsened to the point where it can attract iron-skinned zombies towards him. He screamed at the group to quickly defeat the zombie before it tries to assimilate and absorb the paladin. Hearing that, Sunji immediately ran towards the zombie and attacked him with Moonlight Slash. But to no avail, his slash was not even able to give even a single scratch to the iron-skinned zombie. Even Lu Fan jumped into the fight once again while awakening his dragon aura, because he knew that there was no time left to him for letting the zombies attack slowly because the corpse poison was spreading very fast. He immediately took his black machete and pierced it through the iron-skinned zombie's main red one eye, but to no avail. Nothing happened to the creature because he was now into the steel skin state, which was increasing his defense and endurance by 40%. Lu Fan looked at his ink dragon scale machete while he thought that he needed 2 more hits, but they must be faster because they had no time, and the zombie can come and absorb little Gia at any time now. Suddenly he looked at the status window and saw the Dragon Blood Armor skill, which transformed the user partly into the dragon. Meanwhile, the iron-skinned zombie finally ran towards the paladin while it was charging its assimilation absorption skill, ready to absorb the poor guy. But at that crucial moment, Lu Fan yelled at Qin to use her holy spells in coordination with him while he began transforming his hand by using the blood dragon armor. He told the uncle to protect little Gia with the help of the purple-head lady. We see that as Lu Fan's transformation was complete, one of his hand was now converted into a dragon hand. And listening to his commands, even Qin was ready and started chanting her holy spells with her staff up in the air. Lu Fan and Qin ran towards the iron-skinned zombie, and our boy jumped at the creature with all his might. While the Holy Light Mage also used her Holy Starlight Rain attack onto the undead creature in the hope to defeat it once and for all by giving it massive damage. The iron-skinned zombie boss was running towards Lu Fan and the group with insane speeds, while it screamed that it wanted fresh blood and flesh. Our boy Lu Fan jumped into the air, ready to attack the unshakable creature right during its movement. And we see that suddenly the monstrous iron-skinned zombie started disintegrating, and its skin started falling bit by bit. Looking at that, everyone was surprised, while the purple-head lady realized that the zombie was disintegrating as it increases its speed. Hearing that the uncle understood that the iron-skinned zombie always relied on constant fusion and absorption technique to become huge and to maintain its body. Lu Fan instantly realized that if the iron body was not the original iron-skinned zombie, then the original body must have been wrapped inside all the iron. Sunji Gave was too impressed with our boy's thinking capabilities and instant action. Over many years serving the Qin family, he had already seen all kind of masters, but had never seen someone like Lu Fan because he was definitely a hidden profession. Suddenly we see that the iron-skinned zombie's skin disintegrating too much, and finally the original head of the zombie creature was now in front of everyone. Noticing that Qin told Lu Fan about it, and he started running towards the body once again with insane speeds as he transformed his hands into the dragon hand like before. Our boy jumped with all its might and punched the red-crimson eye of the iron-skinned zombie with his dragon hand while clenching its red eye into his hands and decimating it with the firepower. The zombie started screaming in pain and agony as fire burned his original body down to smithereens. Finally, the zombie was completely destroyed, and our boy Lu Fan landed onto the ground while undoing his hand transformation and getting his legendary black machete back into his hands. Seeing this, everyone was shocked to the core, not able to understand about how a freshman was able to defeat the guard of the secret realm of chance. Even Qin was a little tense, as she had never seen a powerful skill which can easily make a level 20 boss drop dead before. She just wanted to know about who Lu Fan exactly was. As the smoke clears, we see a silver chest which was the iron-skinned zombie's treasure box of level 20. Seeing that, Qin sighed as she told Lu Fan that her group will abide by the agreement and distribute the rewards according to the rules. She even apologized to Lu Fan because they were not familiar with each other before, and the whole group looked down on him without realizing his true power, and it was them who were rude to the boy, even when he was not. Hearing that, even Sun Ji complimented Lu Fan, telling him that he was definitely capable of passing through the secret realm all alone. And now it seemed that the whole group was there to make up for the number instead of Lu Fan himself. With a smile, Lu Fan thanked the uncle while telling Qin that she should be the one to distribute the rewards to the group. Hearing that, Kin opened the chest, but everyone was shocked by seeing the rewards. As the chest opened, it had multiple bottles of strength potion, which was the normal quality consumable, and increased strength by 2 points when consumed. The chest also had multiple antidote potions of rare quality, which eliminate core poison when they are consumed. But seeing that the purple-head lady doubted that the rewards from the secret realm of chance were too underwhelming. The chest also had the morning bracelet of excellent quality, which required level 10 to wear and increased strength points to 16 and endurance to 17. Looking at the bracelet, even Sunji was now in doubt, thinking that all the rewards were very shabby, and it was not quite right considering that the iron-skinned zombie was the secret realm's boss. Hearing everyone, even Lu Fan, started thinking about what the real matter could be. Meanwhile, the girl wanted the uncle to make little Jihad drink the antidote potion so that he can be cured as soon as possible from the deadly poison inside his body. After distributing all the rewards to everyone, Kin smiled as she gave the morning bracelet to our boy Lu Fan while telling him that he deserved it along with the strength potions and antidote potions. He smiled while thinking that the Kin family was really a very disciplined one. Sunji made Jihad drink the potion so that he could recover from the deadly poison which was infecting him. After giving all the equipment, Kin started wondering about how strange it was that she defeated the boss, but can't see the portal to get out of the secret realm of chance yet. Lu Fan was equipping the morning bracelet as he noticed something ominous coming towards their way, while the purple-head lady suggested everyone that they should start looking around for the portal. But hearing that, our boy screamed at the ladies to not move an inch. Lu Fan was able to see at his system that even when they defeated the blood zombies and the iron-skinned zombies, they were not the final boss of the morning village, and someone was still left. Hearing that, Sunji exclaimed, asking Lu Fan about the basis of his surety that someone was still left. But before Lu Fan can even answer, Kin told the uncle that as a holy light mage, even she can sense a very dark existence not too far away from them. We come near the lakeside of the morning village and see that it was all dark and gloomy, with the water giving off a stench not bearable by anyone at all. Even the group instantly agreed that if the lady says that someone is nearby, then something must have happened. And for that matter, the secret realm of chance was not that big either. So maybe they have missed to check a place when they first entered inside the morning village. We see that inside the water there was a big tentacle monster with multiple gruesome eyes and red crimson pupils, which are seething in anger due to the whole group defeating many of its minions. Lu Fan was sensing everything and knew that the imminent danger was coming sooner than anyone could think. Suddenly, we see that multiple tentacles with a large number of eyes come out of the ground, and everyone was shocked to the core while they maintained the space between them and the monster. Even the status window was not able to tell about what the monster was and what its level was. Realizing that Lu Fan was right all along, Sunji understood that this tentacle monster must be the final boss. Everyone got away from the gruesome tentacle hands, while Sunji tried to defend them with his red crimson sword. But as multiple tentacles attack him, he got thrown several meters from where he was standing due to the sheer force and power of the monster tentacles. Seeing that everyone was surprised that their highest level member of the group was now knocked onto the ground. Suddenly, Kin sensed that the tentacles were looking at her from all around, and the next moment they tried to grab the lady with insane speeds. In the midst of chaos, the lady was not able to comprehend about what was happening and can only scream and not do something. But our boy Lu Fan comes like a blazing fast turret and instantly catches the lady before the monster can get a hold of her. Even the lady can't stop blushing after seeing this heroic act of our boy. But we see that tentacles still attacked Lu Fan and threw him onto the ground along with the lady. The other group members immediately ran towards the couple, while the purple-head lady asked Kin if she was okay. Again, no one cares about the real hero in this story. But anyways. Suddenly we see a dark purple aura coming out of the river water in an instant, while the purple-head lady was stunned in deep fear. Everyone turns around and starts running towards the monster, and we see that the whole monster finally came out of the pond. While in the middle of the tentacle body, a lady with long hair and chained hands were looking at the whole group in anger and disgust. Let's call her Mommy Boss from now. I think it suits it more. The lady was the morning corpse of level 25, who was really the boss of the secret realm with a strength of 27 and agility of 183, along with spirit of 150 and stamina of 266. The lady was entangled with corpse aura and spreads it all the time, which decreased all attributes of all creatures in the secret realm by 20%. She also had the chain whip, which caused a lot of damage when it reached the target. She had resentment explosion, which exploded the accumulated resentment and drives back all approaching enemies and inflict corpse poison. We see that the grieving mommy boss with chains shackling her hand was now standing with the help of her tentacles, looking at Sunji along with the others, while the purple-head lady was surprised by looking at the real boss of the secret realm. As little Gia was now conscious, he wanted to fight the boss too, but Sunji calmed the paladin down, telling him that he can still fight and he will protect everyone including Gia until he fully recovers. But as Gia still wanted to fight, Sunji turned towards him, telling him to not force himself as soon as his body was just gaining some energy. But the uncle didn't notice that the tentacles of the mommy boss were going to slam him from above. Suddenly, the uncle looked at it and was somehow able to block the tentacle with his word. And Lu Fan ran towards the real monster with his big black legendary machete into his hand. He knew that the uncle and little Gia were barely holding on against the boss and that they can only rely on him to really defeat the boss. Lu Fan immediately realized that as long as the boss was still a zombie, there was only one way to defeat it. Lu Fan looked at the original body of the mommy boss, who was actually controlling the tentacles, and immediately jumped towards her. But seeing that, the mommy boss made a distorted face, and her mouth opened weirdly as she started screaming at our boy Lu Fan. The creature activated the Corpse Kai envelopment, which emitted Corpse Kai constantly, reducing all the attributes of creatures in the secret realm by 20%. Everyone was now affected by this attack, including our boy Lu Fan, but somehow he was able to still go on and reached one of the tentacle of the mommy boss while it attacked our boy ferociously. Lu Fan jumped onto the chain which was shackling the mommy boss and started running on it to reach the main body as soon as he can. Even the main body was shocked by this behavior of her boy, but Kin immediately warned Lu Fan to watch out from the iron shackles of the mommy boss. The main body immediately started using the chain lash attack, which whipped the chains from the sunken lake towards its targets, causing massive damage. Just after this attack, Lu Fan was not able to maintain its balance onto the chain and started falling off with the machete still into his hands. Now the main boss of the secret realm was so angry that it looked at the whole group in disgust and anger and started using its chain lash attack with an intention to kill all of them. Sunji immediately blocked the chain and told Kin to be careful while fighting the secret boss. The purple-head lady and little Gia were also defending from this attack, but the paladin's shield already broke from just one impact of the secret boss. Lu Fan was still on the offensive, trying to somehow reach the main body, but he immediately noticed that a tentacle hand swept through the air right beside him and straight away got to Sun Ji and the group, while the monster told Lu Fan that if he continued to resist its attack, the whole group is going to die. Knowing that, Lu Fan was not able to contain his anger and still continued going towards the main body of the monster, telling her to get out of the way and let them leave the dungeon. He even used his Dragon Strike attack once again, which mobilized the dragon energy to give a powerful blow to the enemy with the help of current weapon. The mommy boss was getting hurt and started doing desperate attacks of the chain lash, giving a continuous assault to the group and our boy Lu Fan. He finally used the Dragon Blood transformation and transformed its hand into a dragon glow, which helped him to break all the chains attacking him and the whole hunter group. After this attack, Lu Fan finally landed onto the ground after he broke all the chains of the lady which were attacking them. Sunji even told Lu Fan that the boss was not something that they can deal with right now, and he even advised Lu Fan that they should retreat first and strategize about dealing with this secret boss. Even Kin was worried about Lu Fan, and she told him that the whole group in bad shape and they were of no match of the secret boss. She even added that they will all be in great danger if they did not get out of the secret realm right now. But as the grieving lady was still looking at Lu Fan and was ready to attack once more, he told the whole group that they should retreat to the village first, where the zombies have already been eliminated. He gave the task to the uncle and the purple-head lady for them to make sure that the other two people of the group should be safe. Hearing that, even Kin was deeply worried, asking Lu Fan about what will he do by staying near the main mommy boss. Hearing that, Lu Fan dismissed the group with his hand while telling Kin that he will defeat the boss no matter what it took, and he once again told the whole group to retreat quickly. Hearing that, even the purple-head lady liked the idea of Lu Fan and asked Kin to retreat with them. The lady was deeply disappointed that they cannot help Lu Fan at all, and he had to deal with the monster alone. But on the other hand, Lu Fan raised his hand into the air, and a flaming aura surrounded the battlefield. While opening that portal, he thought that even without the debuff of 20% reduction in attributes, which was given to the group by the grieving mommy boss, the whole group would still not be able to help our boy Lu Fan that much. So instead of making them struggle, our boy wanted to have someone who can really cooperate with him and can really deal with the real boss of the secret realm. The mommy boss was still angry at Lu Fan and was looking at him with a killing intent, but even the creature was not able to comprehend about what was happening. Suddenly, Lu Fan told someone to come out of the portal and join our boy for some fun. Seeing that, the black legendary dragon came out of the portal and immediately grabbed the tentacles of the secret boss with her jaws. Everyone was shocked to the core by this sudden revelation of Lu Fan's secret. They were not able to believe that they were actually witnessing the presence of a mighty dragon in the secret realm. We see that even the dragon was way bigger than she was before. When Lu Fan got the dragon for the first time, the legendary dragon grabbed each and every tentacle coming at her with her sharp claws and huge hands. Meanwhile, the group was still in shock, seeing that the mysterious kid Lu Fan summoned a giant dragon into the secret realm. Even when Lu Fan had the plan to not reveal the dragon to the hunter group, there was no other way to defeat the secret boss without summoning her. Agreeing to every order of her master, the dragon immediately used the giant assault attack, which made the dragon rush at high speed and then bite the target, causing continuous bleeding damage. By doing this, the dragon broke multiple tentacles of the main body, causing the zombie mommy boss to scream in immense agony and pain, making her roar and to frantically attack. But even after all of this, the dragon was not ready to stop and gave a final attack to the secret boss of the secret realm, taking all the shackles of the mommy boss and making her submerge into the water once again. And with that, finally the secret boss of the realm of chance was defeated. Sun Ji was not able to understand about how Lu Fan was able to dismantle the whole enormous boss in just 2 blows. It was simply a terrifying thought to him. Even little Gio was not able to believe that he was witnessing the might of the dragon with his own eyes. Everyone in the group believed that seeing the dragon meant they are inevitable death. But that was not the case, and they were truly shaken and terrified while also being amused. Even Kin understood that the person in the recent rumors she heard about Zhonghai Sitam was really our boy, the one and only worthless dragon tamer Lu Fan. We see that Lu Fan was patting the dragon for the work she did, telling her that she did very good work. Lu Fan approached the chest and opened it. The chest began to glow, and as he looked inside, he started smiling. Little Kin held the magical staff with both hands and stood behind watching him, while the rest of the team simply stood silently watching. As Lu Fan opened the chest, it contained several objects. The first one was the Holy Light Staff. This object was of excellent quality, with 32 spirit points and 19 stamina points. The required level to use it was level 10. The staff had an ability called Holy Light Seal, which allowed the user to bind the target with light. The duration of the bind depended on the user's spiritual attributes. The second object was a robe called Twilight. This object was of excellent quality. It had 35 spirit points, 15 stamina points, and the required level to use it was level 10. This outfit had an ability called Light Flow, which allowed the user to use light to create a barrier to protect themselves from attacks. The amount of damage that the barrier could absorb depended on the user's spirit attributes. The third object was the Ring of Mourning. This object was of rare quality. It had 57 spirit points, 21 stamina, and 12 strength points. The required level to use it was 15. This ring had an ability called Mourning Aura that allowed the user to assign any target to obtain the Mourning Aura. Any attack launched by the person with the aura would be added with a resentment value. When the resentment value accumulated, the attacking target would be affected by negative effects such as poisoning, bleeding, and dizziness caused by corpses. The fourth and final object was the Job Transfer Scroll. This object was of rare quality, and it had no points as it was consumable. The effect of this object was to induce a low probability that a non-hidden profession would be transferred to the hidden profession of the current profession. Without thinking twice, Lu Fan chose the job transfer scroll. He stood up, and while holding the scroll in his hand, he turned towards Little Chin and the others. As his body emitted a blue energy, he revealed to them that he was going to choose the scroll. A system window appeared to inform him that he had successfully obtained the job transfer scroll. Little Kin approached Lu Fan and explained that he didn't need to go out of his way for them at all. According to the rules, these items belonged to him. And Lu Fan replied saying that he wasn't pretending to be a gentleman, and all the equipment had spirit attributes. The spiritual equipment was more suitable for her. He also added that all he needed was this job transfer scroll. Little Kin approached the chest, and while looking inside, she explained to him that if she hadn't met him, then all of them could have died in this place. Lu Fan simply stood still, watching without saying a word, wondering what she was planning to do. Several seconds later, after looking into the chest, she took out the mourning ring from the chest. She extended her hand towards Lu Fan, and while looking into his eyes, she asked him to please accept this ring. Wait a minute, is this a proposal? Our Giga Chad boy has secured a second waifu, guys. Without thinking twice, Lu Fan grabbed the ring, and while he was holding it in his hand, he closed his eyes and imagined doing naughty things with her. With a smile, thought that if she acted this way, then he couldn't do anything. Little Chin stood up, and while holding the magic staff, she started staring into Lu Fan's eyes and began to blush while imagining doing dirty things to him. Wait, what the?
Stop it. Get some help.
She started wondering what else he hadn't shown to her. He was a very difficult person to figure out. While the dragon lady was playing with the filler guy, Uncle Sunji approached them, and while looking at Lu Fan, thought that he was a very interesting person. Purplehead also approached them, and while looking at Lu Fan, she smiled and explained to Little Kin that it was time to prepare to return. That same night, several hours later, Lu Fan returned to his Aunt Han Ki's bun shop. She threw herself into his arms, closed her eyes, and explained that this was too dangerous because just by listening to him. I am getting a different kind of feeling from this interaction, guys. Maybe it's just me. But you can let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? She continued saying that she started getting scared since he had encountered so many dangers in the past few days. Upon hearing this, Lu Fan became somewhat confused. While he was staring into his aunt's eyes, he asked her what had happened. He also requested that she release him quickly, since he had been in the wilderness for several days, and his clothes were very dirty. Instead of letting go, Han Ki hugged him even tighter, closed her eyes, and while crying, explained to him that Lu Fan wasn't dirty at all. Indeed, it's a tight hug, everything in between is getting squished. She also added that because he had left without informing her, she hadn't been able to close her eyes during the past nights out of fear that once she woke up from sleep, her beloved Lu Fan wouldn't have returned home. Lu Fan closed his eyes, approached her, placed a hand on her back, and with a pleasant smile, apologized for leaving without warning. He also asked her not to worry, because he would never let her worry again. Whatever you guys say, this chapter is going sideways. I think our Giga Chad boy has an aunt with benefits, and a cute one indeed. While he was wiping her tears away with his hand, he closed his eyes and explained with a smile that everything was fine. He also asked her to stop crying. Upon hearing this, she stopped crying and thought that Lu Fan was a very good person. Then she turned to one side and began stroking the head of the dragon Xiaoye, who sat on the floor, closed her eyes, and started smiling because she was enjoying it a lot. While she was looking at Xiaoye, she explained to Lu Fan that she had been very surprised when she first saw her. She also added that such a cute girl like her was truly an extremely powerful dragon. Lu Fan simply smiled at this statement. Han Ki approached Xiaoye and asked if she had not eaten enough in the past few days, so she asked her if she was hungry. Upon hearing this, Xiaoye began nodding to indicate that she was indeed hungry. While the two of them were talking, Lu Fan approached them holding the job transfer scroll in his hand, looked at his aunt. He started explaining that this was the reward from the dungeon that he had specifically chosen for her. He brought the scroll closer to her and explained that if she changed from one job to a hidden job, then she would no longer have to keep watching this bakery. Han Ki stood up and explained that she couldn't use the job transfer scroll because it was too expensive. She advised him to simply sell it, since as he had left the weapons and equipment with the little Quinn of the Chin family. She recommended him to buy equipment so that his results would be the best during the big exam. Just before she could finish speaking, Lu Fan took out his mobile phone and showed her the balance he had in his bank account. He had a pleasant smile on his face as he explained to her that he no longer lacked money or equipment. Seeing that Lu Fan had so much money in his bank account, she was amazed. He approached her and explained to her that he had sold many of the materials he had collected during this trip. He also added that his travel companion Little Kin had promised him a reward of 100,000 yuan. After explaining this to her, he asked his aunt to believe his words as they would never have to worry about money again. Upon hearing this, Han Ki approached him, clenched her fist, and while looking into his eyes, couldn't help but shed a tear of joy. Lu Fan began to bring the job transfer scroll closer to her and insisted that it was better to use it now. She simply extended her hands towards the scroll, and while looking at Lu Fan with a happy expression, she thought he was right. She opened the scroll, and it started to shine while her body emitted a blue energy. Her hair and dress began to float, leaving her surprised. Several seconds later, slowly the scroll began to disappear, and she was floating in the air with the help of 2 helium balloons. She started floating in the air and absorbed the energy from the scroll. Lu Fan was covering his face with his hand due to the intense light. He looked at Han Ki and asked if she had been successful. While her body was still surrounded by blue energy and her hairs were floating, she slightly turned toward Lu Fan and explained to him that she had succeeded as she had obtained the best hidden occupation of a chef called Enchantment Chef. Lu Fan was surprised and asked her if there was anything special about this new hidden profession. She explained to him that she had a skill called enchantment cooking that allowed her to prepare food with various buffs. Lu Fan praised her, saying that his aunt's cooking was very good, so the additional attributes were going to be very high. Upon hearing this, she started smiling and explained that he was just speaking highly of her. Lu Fan decided to change the subject and asked her where Xiao Yi had gone. Xiao Yi had taken advantage of the fact that the two of them were talking to go to the kitchen and eat all the food. After filling her stomach with all the buns, she fell asleep on the ground. That same night, in the study room of Qin's family villa, Qin Kuei went to her father's office and sat on a sofa. While her father was sitting in an office chair holding a champagne glass in his hand, he turned towards her and asked if it had really been a dragon tamer named Lu Fan, who had summoned a powerful black dragon that saved your lives. Qin Kuei closed her eyes and explained to him that her stubbornness had almost cost them their lives. She continued saying Lu Fan was too strong, despite both of them having hidden professions. The difference between her and him was like that between a firefly and the moon. While her father was swirling his wine glass, he started looking outside through the window and asked her if she had told anyone else about the dragon. She replied that she hadn't because she had made a promise to Lu Fan that the matter regarding the dragon would not be revealed outside by the Qin family. Her father Qin Shanhai turned his head towards her and praised her for doing a good job. He also asked her how many of those people who coveted the power of the dragons would remain calm once this information was leaked. Little Qin stood up, and while staring into her father's eyes, she clenched her fist tightly and begged him not to leak the information since Lu Fan had saved all their lives. She asked him if he had anything against Lu Fan's dragon. To her response, Qin Shanhai started laughing out loud. He asked his daughter if she believed that her father was that kind of person. He also asked her how she was going to pay Lu Fan for saving their lives. Upon hearing this, little Qin felt quite relieved. She closed her eyes and explained to her father that when she had invited Lu Fan to join the team, she had promised him a reward of 100,000 yuan. Qin Shanhai sighed and advised her to take a purple tongue card and personally visit Lu Fan's the next day to thank him. She simply closed her eyes and nodded. Then she asked her father why he didn't come with her if he was so curious about Lu Fan. Qin Shanhai sighed and winked at her, while explaining that he also wanted to meet the Dragon Master but couldn't go because he had important matters to attend. Early morning the next day, the princess of Taiki Kingdom came from the Dragon Kingdom to study in Shanghai. The princess was a short girl who carried a magic staff and was being accompanied by her assistant. A tall man with black hair wearing black armor, a magic wand, and carrying a suitcase. They often had business dealings, so they still had to greet them. But coming here when the big exam was about to take place wasn't for studying abroad. The princess and her assistant arrived at Hanki's bakery. While she was preparing the pastries, damn! This woman always has some lusty poses to show us. Well, I am not complaining. She noticed that she had customers. She turned her head towards them and asked them to wait for a moment. Then she slightly opened the door and with a smile explained to the visitors that there were no steamed buns today. The princess asked her subordinate if this was the place they were looking for. She questioned if he had brought her to a garbage dump. Upon hearing this, the man explained that he would never dare to do such a thing. He also added that according to their investigation, this was indeed the place they were looking for. While the aunt was asking them about who they were, the man forcefully pushed the door open, causing the edge of the door to hit Hanki, and she screamed due to the pain. Both the little princess and man entered the store, and the princess turned her head towards her and explained that she was here to find someone. She asked if she knew a dragon tamer named Lu Fan. Upon hearing the commotion, Lu Fan came down the stairs. He looked towards the door and asked his aunt if someone was looking for him. Then he notices her aunt in pain and holding her arm. Upon seeing this, Lu Fan panicked and asked her if she was okay. While the princess covered her nose and complained to the guy that this place was filled with an unpleasant smell. Quickly, Lu Fan approached Auntie Hanki and while holding her hand, asked if she was okay. He also asked what was happening. She explained that she was fine. While they were talking, the princess caught his attention and asked him if he was Lu Fan. She explained that she herself, the princess, had made a special trip to see him specially. Lu Fan turned towards her and asked who she was and why she was looking for him. The man introduced her and explained to Lu Fan that she was Princess Jinju from the Taizi Kingdom, and he introduced himself as Cui Hongtai, the princess's assistant. With a smile, the princess explained that she had come here to give him a breakthrough opportunity. Lu Fan was confused by this statement. She continued saying that being a dragon tamer must be a tough job. Then she reached out her hand towards Cui Hongtai. Upon seeing this, he nodded and opened the suitcase. Upon seeing what the suitcase contained, Lu Fan was surprised and started sweating. It didn't take long for him to realize that it was a dragon egg. Princess Jinju told him that as long as he accepted the request, the dragon egg would be all his. Upon seeing Lu Fan's expression, she pointed at him with her finger, and she explained to him that the conditions were very simple. She wanted him to be her slave and do everything she told him without disobeying. I think this spoiled little brat needs some taming. Cui Hongtai was holding the egg with both hands while showing it to Lu Fan. The bratty princess started explaining that the egg is the reward that she obtained in the armored dragon's lair. She was in a delusion that it was the only dragon egg in the world. Lu Fan's aunt was still confused with the terms of the contract and questioned the harsh terms of making her precious nephew into a slave. Lu Fan opened the status window to check the status of the egg. It was an egg of an armored dragon with a natural tough shell. The tough shell reduced incoming damage by 30%, and the only pathetic attack the armored dragon could do was swinging its giant tail in a fan-shaped area. This land dragon was even lower than a wyvern. While Lu Fan was checking the stats, the princess mistook him as he was scared and could not speak. She even called the pathetic egg a powerful dragon. Lu Fan cut her off and told her the attributes were good, but the only thing this armored dragon has is endurance. He joked if they call it a dragon. With this remark, the princess was shocked and questioned if Lu Fan really knew what he was seeing, and if he didn't understand what a dragon egg means to a dragon tamer. While the bratty princess was lost in thought, the aunt was questioning how could a child be like her and demand someone to be her slave. Lu Fan assured her that she did not need to worry, and he would handle the situation. The princess continued her tantrum, saying that a dragon tamer without a dragon is worthless, and as long as Lu Fan becomes her servant, he can become the strongest person in history. She questioned, is he not excited about thinking of being famous and powerful? While trying to put on a fake smile and being as polite as he can, he said, I refuse. That's our Giga Chad boy. I knew he would never accept that crappy offer. Now the only thing left is to teach this girl some manners. This refusal hit the princess like a truck, and she gets isekai'd into a new world. She questioned Lu Fan to rethink and make sure what he was saying. She was angry that he was refusing to become her servant and refusing to become a dragon tamer who would make history. At this point, Lu Fan was annoyed and told her to leave if this was the only matter she came for. He was not interested in the dragon egg and told her to stop that crappy joke of him being her servant. Hearing this remark, Kui Hong Tai defended the princess by saying that she is personally giving him a chance to rise to prominence. He called Lu Fan an ignorant fool for speaking disrespectfully to the princess. Chance. Respect. Don't be ridiculous. I won't be anyone's servant. Lu Fan replied. Kui Hong Tai, teach him a lesson. The princess yelled angrily while pointing at Lu Fan. He readied his fists and replied in agreement. Hearing this, the ant came in front of Lu Fan while telling Princess and Kui Hong Tai to wait and not be angry. She explained that Lu Fan didn't want this, and they should just drop the matter. In an instant, Kui Hong Tai closed the distance and punched her aside while yelling that the princess had given her order, and she should stand aside. Lu Fan was too shocked in this situation and tried to help her stand up while asking if she was injured and let him help her. She was holding her swollen red cheek and replied that she was fine. Kui Hong Tai was readying his fist for the next attack while saying that even mere commoners dare to defy the noble princess of Taiji. He wanted to teach them a lesson, the hard way. The ant noticed Kui Hong Tai's attack and yelled Lu Fan's name. In an instant, Lu Fan reacted and launched an attack toward Kui Hong Tai. He pointed his big black machete at Kui Hong Tai while warning that he had hurt his family and he would kill him now. Kui Hong Tai was shocked by the attack and his cheek was bleeding. He jumped back while his aunt was holding Lu Fan back while telling him to not be impulsive. The bratty princess had no idea what happened and questioned Kui Hong Tai about what he was doing and that she wanted to teach this guy a lesson. After tasting an attack from Lu Fan's big black machete, Kui Hong Tai thought that there was something wrong with Lu Fan. Lu Fan stepped toward bratty princess and delivered a super ultra special backhand slap right on her cheek. Well, this does not count as child abuse, does it? Well, they are not in America, so who knows? He told her that he did not care which country's princess she was. She should just shut her noisy mouth, take her trash, and leave his home. Watching the bratty princess getting slapped, Kui Hong Tai attacked Lu Fan while yelling, "How can he lay a hand on the princess?" Lu Fan easily deflected his attack with the big black machete, and his spear wand got knocked out of his hand. Kui Hong Tai then shifted his focus to the princess, who was holding her cheek while sitting on the ground. He asked her if she was okay. The princess then instantly passed on the super ultra special slap to Kui Hong Tai and called him trash while questioning him that does she look okay to him? She commanded him to kill Lu Fan, even if they can't find any other dragon tamer. She wanted him dead. He replied saying yes. The scene then shifted to Lu Fan's bedroom where his phone was ringing, and our waifu dragon Xiao Yi was annoyed by it. The person calling him at this time was Little Chin. She thought it was strange that he did not answer the phone, and it surely was the number that Lu Fan had given her when they went back to the city. She thought she might have remembered it wrong. She was walking in the street while wondering about Lu Fan's house location. There was a blast from the nearby wall, and she was startled. Kui Hong Tai was the reason for that blast. Lu Fan had knocked him out on the road through the wall. He was looking pretty beat up, and people around the street noticed that there was a fight. They yelled that a foreigner is causing trouble. The brat princess yelled at people to go away and stop looking at them, while Lu Fan was slowly walking like a champ holding his big black machete in his left hand. Ciu Hong Tai kneeled and said that he could not fight Lu Fan as his attributes are not low and he is way stronger. Then let this princess help you out. After saying this, the princess then started chanting a spell, and dark ominous energy started growing around her. Lu Fan noticed that this spell was the extremely opposite of Qin Kuei's spell. He thought that the princess was also a hidden class. Lu Fan, what's wrong? Little Qin rushed toward Lu Fan, and he was surprised to see her there. He questioned why she was here. In the meantime, the princess finished her chanting and all the ominous dark energy started pouring into Kui Hong Tai. He screamed due to surge in the energy, and both Lu Fan and Little Qin covered their eyes to the flash of high energy emitting from Kui Hong Tai. The status window revealed Kui Hongtai's class, which was a combat class, and he was a guardian knight, while the bratty princess Jinju was a combat class advanced spiritual witch. He turned into a monster, Lu Fan wondered. Lu Fan, I am here to help you. Little Qin took a defensive stance in front of Lu Fan. Kui Hongtai jumped into the air to attack them, and Lu Fan pushed Little Qin aside, saying that she needed to take care of his aunt who was in the shop. Kui Hongtai landed a heavy attack, but Lu Fan was able to dodge the attack on time, and the portion of the road where Lu Fan was standing moments ago was completely destroyed by Kui Hongtai's attack. While sliding back, Lu Fan thought that Kui Hongtai's attack power has become too high now, and he has turned into a monster. He will have to use Dragon Inspiration and Claw together to do some damage. The princess was standing with Kui Hongtai, yelling to kill Lu Fan to relieve her anger. Hearing this, Kui Hongtai pulled his staff, which was stuck in the road, and prepared to attack. But before he can attack our Waifu dragon Xiao, Yi jumped from the window and transformed into her original dragon form. This shocked both the princess and Kui Hongtai to the core, and the only thing they could mutter was, "It's a real dragon?" The chapter starts with the bratty princess holding her staff and calling Kui Hongtai useless, and to hold on a little longer as a skill charging notification shows that she is casting a spell. In the next instant, the dragon roared with such intensity that she was blown away and her spell got cancelled. The dragon Xiao Yi activated her own skill called the Dragon Bloodline, which reduced all damage received by 50%, provided immunity to all debuffs, and also increased self-healing ability by 500%. The dragon then slammed Kui Hongtai to the ground, and he was powerless and screaming like a little baby to let him go. Being a good dragon Xiao Ye she complied and threw him toward the princess, and he crashed on the road, making a big crater where he landed due to the impact. He apologized to the princess for his weakness. I think he should be apologizing to the aunt and Lu Fan. Seeing the pathetic state of Kui Hongtai, the princess wondered if this is the power of a real dragon. She came to the realization that there are other real dragons existing in the world, apart from the Jin family's pathetic defensive lizards. To get her out of her shock, Lu Fan called her, and she was instantly snapped out of her thoughts. Then Lu Fan started walking toward her like a villain, holding his big black machete in his right hand, asking her if she wasn't going to kill him to vent her anger. Hearing this, she took a step backward and in the process fell down in fear. "Don't come here! Stay away from me! You attacked my attendant and seriously injured him and humiliated me and threatening me." The bratty princess screamed in fear with teary eyes. She continued warning Lu Fan, saying that does he knew the consequences his action will bring, and now he has become the enemy of the Taiki kingdom. I think she is just blabbering at this point and trying to play the victim. Just like a typical Karen. To all this nonsense blabbering, our Giga Chad MC just flexed his big black machete and asked her if she was trying to scare him. He reached the bratty princess and with rage-filled eyes told the princess that she sent his men to harm his family. Don't say you are some kind of princess from Taiki Kingdom, and even if she is a god, he will repay it with interest. The little bratty princess was shitting her diapers at this point, and what he is going to do with her. While the dragon was charging a big fireball attack, Lu Fan raised the machete to attack the princess, and the instant he was about to attack somebody from the distance called his name. It was Little Qin's father, Qin Shanhai, flying toward him on a griffin. "Dad, it's dangerous!" Little Qin screamed to warn him of the situation. Xiao Ye took notice of Qin Shanhai and aimed the fire attack in his direction. But before she could attack, Lu Fan stopped her from attacking while cutting the staff of little bratty princess with his big black machete. The dragon canceled the attack, and Qin Shanhai landed on the ground. He urged Lu Fan to call the dragon back as the air is filled with residents, and they can get injured, while he was wondering that true dragons are indeed different from subtypes. The dragon was emitting immense pressure, and it was hard to stand even near her. The poor griffin was also scared due to the overwhelming pressure of Xiao Yi. Little Qin also urged Lu Fan to listen to her and believe that they are on his side. Being a Chad who listens to his girls, Lu Fan called back Xiao Ye, and she instantly transforms into her waifu form. Little Qin then grabbed Lu Fan from the arm and asked him to follow her, while her fur kin Shanhai was asking the little brat if she was right, and he went to the airport to pick them up and didn't expect her to be there. He told her that the Kin family driver would be here soon to take them to the hospital. The scene then shifts to inside the bun shop, where the aunt is explaining that little Quin's father knows the bratty princess, and he might be able to resolve the conflict. And that is the reason little Kin made the call to her father and told him about the current situation. To this, Lu Fan responded that he has a feeling that she won't let this go. While they were conversing, Qin Shanhai walked in and explained that he understood the situation, but Lu Fan caused trouble as soon as he met him. He joked that Lu Fan had a knack for it. Lu Fan apologized for the trouble and explained that this time he couldn't be blamed for it as the bratty princess was at fault. The aunt asked Mr. Qin how will today's incident would be handled. He explained that they have sent both the princess and Kui Hong Tai to the hospital. They mentioned that they needed to give an explanation to the Jin family. He further explained that the Jin family not only engages in business bit, also has considerable influence in upper echelons of the kingdom. At this statement, Aunt was concerned that Lu Fan had hit them, and he might face the punishment. Even if she has immense power, so what? I won't compromise my dignity for a dragon Ed, our Giga Chad MC replied. At this statement, Qin Shanhai was super happy and praised Lu Fan for his integrity and told him that he admired him. He further explained that Lu Fan does not have to worry too much about it, and he will ensure his safety. While smoking in style, he told Lu Fan that he can't do it alone, and he has a condition. What condition? Lu Fan asked. Achieve the position of South Province champion in the grand exam, he said while pointing his cigarette at Lu Fan. He further explained that he would do his best to hold back the bratty princess until the exam was finished. Hearing this, little Qin explained that it would not be easy as there are countless top students in the entire South Province. But only if you surpass them and become the champion, I will be able to help you, Qin Shanhai added. Suddenly, our boy Lu Fan had a determined face and told the man that he understood the situation and that he will accept this condition. The scene changes to the hospital, where the bratty princess was running around in anger, talking on the phone while screaming at the person on the other side, saying that Qin Shanhai was obviously favoring Lu Fan because that guy had not been caught yet. But the person from the other side tried to calm down the bratty princess, telling her that they will try to contact the high-level officials of the kingdom immediately and ask them to resolve the situation. But the princess was still not happy, telling the guy to put pressure on the high-ranking officials, saying that it was her order. She angrily stated that she was going to kill Lu Fan. Guess she still hasn't learned her lesson. I bet the whole empire can't beat our Giga Chad MC with the dragon waifu around. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments section. The scene then shifts, and it is the next day before the grand exam of the 3rd middle school. All the students were gathered and a huge crowd was in the playground, as everyone checked each other's levels and tried to form groups with each other later. And suddenly everyone turned around as they saw Lu Fan back in the school. They even thought that Lu Fan got back home to sell the steamed buns. Some of them even pointed out that even though Lu Fan was a brilliant student and now turned into trash. No school wanted him. He was still participating in the exam. But Lu Fan is now different from the last time. Even when he felt nostalgic for the ideal gossip, he knew that he was too lazy to deal with them on any level. Suddenly, the Grandmaster shouted at all these students to calm down. He announced that the South Province Grand Exam was about to begin. Lu Fan was standing in the middle of all the students and thinking that after self-upgrading to level 15, the treasure maps he received every day were not used. The reason of not using the maps was because all of them were intermediate level. He was thinking of combining all 3 of these into a high-level treasure map, which can help him to prepare for the big exam. While he was in the middle of these thoughts, someone called him and asked if he is also participating in the big exam. When he turned around, it was his teacher, and he replied saying that he has to, and he has been working to increase his strength. The teacher then proceeded to hand him a teleportation stone while praising him for his good work. The teacher continued saying that he believes in his fighting spirit, which might not be worse than that of other professionals. Lu Fan just smiled and started checking the status window of the stone he had in his hand. The stone was of rare quality, and when used in the Trial Secret Realm, it teleports user to 1st floor of the Heavenly Tower. When used in the Heavenly Tower, it teleports user to the Trial Secret Realm platform. After he was done checking the stone, the teacher warned him that the importance of the profession in this world is too great. Although it was only an exam, but a mistake can lead to injury or a death. He advised Lu Fan to try and find a teammate for the trial. If things does not work out, he should use the teleportation stone to get out and not make things even more difficult for himself. Lu Fan smiled and said, "Okay, teacher." After the teacher left, some students started gossiping about Lu Fan. Why do all these background characters doubts our MC? I bet they haven't seen his big black machete just yet. Lu Fan ignored them and started thinking that in the team the scores are divided among the teammates. What he want is not just to pass the trial, but to be at the first place as he promised to Qin Shanhai. In the next moment, someone called Lu Fan. When he looked around, it was little Qin. She was walking toward Lu Fan with another girl. I guess this new girl is potentially Lu Fan's third waifu. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section. If you guess correctly, I will pin your comment and mention you in the video when she officially becomes a waifu. Lu Fan asked her if the new girl is her teammate. She agreed and introduced her as her best friend. Her name is Jiao Man, and she is level 1 combat professional swordsman. She said hello to Lu Fan, and cutting her off, little Qin asked Lu Fan if he would like to team up with them for the trial. At this statement, Xiaoman was stunned. To little Qin's surprise, Lu Fan apologized and said that he is planning to participate alone in the exam. He further explained that he knows that she wants to help him, but this is the condition he has put up for himself. He waved bye to both the girls and said that he is heading to the exam site. Little Qin was a bit disappointed that she is missing a chance to work with the guy of her dreams, and she wished him luck. She thought that with his level strength, anyone who team up with Lu Fan at this point is going to be just drag him down. After Lu Fan left, Xiaoman questioned little Qin that why she invited the weakest profession to team up with them. To this question, little Qin replied that he is strong. She further explained that Lu Fan will be top scorer in Southern Province, whether she believes it or not. Xiaoman was surprised at this response and asked little Qin that what is she talking about and was she falling in love with the dragon tamer Lu Fan. Little Qin denied, saying that she is just imagining things while her cheeks were all red. Xiaoman teased her further, saying her cheeks are red when she was trying to deny the statement. The scene shift to the Grand Exam Trail Secret Realm. Lu Fan walked through the portal lake a Giga Chat and said, "This is where it all begins." On a big screen, the principal announced that the portals in the sky are divided into 4 levels: normal, hard, fear, and nightmare. When the portal opens, the selected candidates of that level can enter the Heavenly Tower using the teleportation stone which their teacher distributed earlier. The Heavenly Tower at the normal level is all projections and won't cause fatal injuries. The score multiplier of this reel is 0.9x. From hard level onwards, all the monsters are real, and when the student uses the teleportation stone to safely exit, their score will be saved. The hard level's score multiplier is 1.0. It seemed like everyone usually picked this realm. As the higher ones are usually chosen by the hidden professions, they are way too difficult for normal professions, and it is considered suicidal for the weak normal professions. The principal continued his explanation, saying that the monsters at the fear level are more ferocious, and this realm is not recommended for the solo challenges. He advised that not to care about score sharing as life is more important. The score multiplier to this realm was 3.0x. Someone instantly started laughing and screamed, saying his principal to watch him as he is going to set the highest score in the exam. This guy's name was Hongwu. He has his hidden profession of Qigong Master and is level 14. Looking at him, Xiaoman mentioned that he is the #1 expert at #1 middle school, and he ranks in top 5 in the province. Little Qin explained that Qigong Master is a versatile profession, whether attacking or defending. She mentioned that he is going to challenge the hard realm solo. After hearing Hongwu's declaration, other students said that they were doomed and can only aim for low rankings. Other student added that they are definitely no match for him and should have chosen a lower difficulty. The scene changes to the principal's office, where a bunch of screens were showing all the students. The principal of #1 middle school started laughing while stating that Hongwu is the most formidable student at their school. He added that it was a sure win for him, and he will become the top scorer. He mentioned that little Kin is also good, and in his opinion, she should be in the top 3 rankers. Lu Fan's principal thought that it was a pity. If Lu Fan had awakened to another hidden profession, he would have taken the first place. While he was lost in the thoughts, Mr. Win Shanhai said that for the first place, he has a quite promising candidate in the mind, and he is optimistic about him. The principal asked him, who is he referring to? He said, Lu Fan the Dragon Tamer from O3 School. At this statement, Lu Fan's principal was stunned, and the principal of number 1 school pointed that all the students have gone, but Lu Fan hasn't entered the Heavenly Tower yet. He questioned if he is giving up on the exam. While laughing, he asked Mr. Quinn to don't joke and questioned what can he expect from a dragon tamer. He pointed to the scoreboard saying that Hong Wu is already on the 4th floor, and if he is ranked first at the scoreboard. Lu Fan's principal realized something, and with a shocked expression explained that he is not giving up. He is waiting for the last difficulty level portal to appear. He is choosing Nightmare Trial. The Nightmare Trial is one way. This student is too overconfident. The principal of number 1 school shouted. The Nightmare Trial appeared in the sky, and the score multiplier was 9.9 for this realm. Lu Fan prepared to enter the trial realm, while the principal of number 1 school shouted that he will die in this and urged Principal Bai to stop him from entering. While Lu Fan entered the trial with a smile, the principal was concerned and mentioned that no one who has challenged the Nightmare Trial has come back intact. The last person who challenged the Nightmare Trial was 8 years ago, and he was eaten by the ferocious beasts, which was a miserable death according to the principal. The principal of number 1 school questioned that wasn't he educated properly about the rules of Grand Exam? He mentioned that this dragon tamer is doomed for sure. He continued saying that Mr. Quinn's judgment also needs improvement as Lu Fan can't be compared to Hong Wu at all. To this, Quinn Shanhai winked while saying that they should just focus on the performance of talented of Qigong Master. He mentioned further that it's still too early to draw conclusions, and why don't just observe for a little longer without making deductions. Principal Bai asked Quinn Shanhai why he trusts Lu Fan so much. While they were discussing, Lu Fan entered the 1st floor of Nightmare Trial. In the next moment, a paw stepped toward Lu Fan out of the dense fog. There were a couple more red eyes behind him, and he was surrounded by the monsters in an instant. Lu Fan quickly pulled out his big black machete and took a defensive stance. He thought that according to his knowledge, there should be at least 10 monsters around. From the fog, a couple of black-maned wolves stepped out. Their level was 10. Their bite attack caused continuous bleeding damage to the target, and the other skill Night Howl increases all the attributes of friendly targets and reset all skill cooldowns. The wolf roared at Lu Fan and jumped toward him. While maintaining a cool demeanor, Lu Fan responded with Dragon Fang Strike. He sliced all the wolves to a crisp in just one attack, and the notification announced that the Nightmare Trial Sky Tower, 1st floor completed, and he instantly gained 990 score. The principal of 1st Middle School was shocked and said, "One hit kill? What's the deal with this Lu Fan? He's ridiculously strong." Other principal added that his attributes are clearly above the level of his peers. Principal Bai was also shocked and questioned that could it be that he has found the legendary dragon. With 990 points, Lu Fan instantly jumped to the 2nd position on the scoreboard. At the same time that the director of number 1 middle school and the others were watching Lu Fan from the surveillance room, someone in a detective suit walked in. This person had one hand in their pocket and a briefcase in the other. They were wearing a cap and glasses. It was hard for the directors of number 1 middle school and Director Bai to believe that Lu Fan had only used one blow to defeat the Black Mane Wolves. Suddenly, the man opened the room door, which caught everyone's attention. In response to hearing his voice, Shanhai turned his head back and became alert when he saw him. Upon entering the room, the man said his name was Kang Xing. He was a special representative from Longdu. He came here to investigate someone and then take them back to Longdu. He took off his cap and looked at Shanhai. He then asked where the Dragon Master, Lu Fan, was. A window with statistics showed up. Kang Xing was level 57 and in the combat specialization. At the same time, Lu Fan started using the big black machete to cut through the vines in the nightmare trial. He opened the system map with the other hand while holding the machete in the other. He felt good when he realized he had found what he was looking for. He saw a system window informing him that he had reached the right spot on the treasure map. After that, another window on the screen told him that a high-level treasure map had been made. Lu Fan couldn't help but feel excited as he looked at the system map. The high-level treasure map he had made before going into the trial realm was on the first floor of the Celestial Tower. As Lu Fan started to cut through the thorny plants blocking his way, he came across a book. He reached out and took it. An alert window showed up on his screen telling him that he had successfully acquired a skill book named Accelerated Growth. This book shined. It had several gems set into the cover. The statistics window said that this book was called Accelerate Growth and was very good. The skill book taught the user a passive skill that sped up growth after it was used. This skill made pets gain 100% more experience. Lu Fan opened the book right away, which made it give off a strong energy that started to surround his body. He gained the ability to grow faster as a result. He thought this skill would work well for small animals that come out at night while he was reading the book. As strong energy surrounded him, he clenched his fist tightly. When he left the morning village, he felt like Xiao Ye was leveling up too slowly. Now that she had this passive skill, she would level up a lot faster. At the same time, in the room where Director Bai, Shanhai, and Qiang Shang were present and watching Lu Fan through a screen, Kang Xing told Director Bai that because Lu Fan was a student at their school, Bai should immediately interrupt his trial and ask him to return here. Director Bai gave him a serious look and told him that it would be best to wait until the students were done with their exams, even if there was something important to do. He was willing to take responsibility for Lu Fan's actions because he was in charge of the Third Institute. Kang Xing replied that Director Bai could take responsibility instead of Lu Fan, but he couldn't get punished for him. Because Director Bai didn't understand what he meant, he asked what punishment he was talking about. Shanhai then walked up to Qiang Shang, grabbed his arm, and asked him to step back a bit considering their old friendship. He asked him to pay attention. There was a man from No. 1 Middle School who reached out and asked what the Dragon Master had done. Kang Xing turned his body backwards and with a little force made Shanhai release his arm, leaving him somewhat confused. With an angry look, he asked Shanhai not to distract him while he was performing his task and also requested that he not try to approach him. After saying this, he gave Shanhai a mad look and told Shanhai that if he got involved in this, the Jin family and the top Dragon Clan members would not be happy, even though he didn't know why Shanhai was defending the dragon Tamer. Shanhai did nothing but look at Kang Xing with a serious face and keep quiet. After saying this, he turned around, pushed Shanhai with his hand, and asked him if he got it. After that, he told Director Bai to bring Lu Fan. He was busy when Shanhai called him an old friend. He turned his head back when he heard that. Shanhai took out a cigarette, lit it, and put it in his mouth. He then brought the lighter close to his mouth to light the cigarette. His conversation with Kang Xing showed that the close ties between important Longdu officials and the Jin family affected both the Dragon Kingdom and the Taiki Kingdom, making things more complicated. He told everyone that the high-level officials and the Jin family would no longer be important once Lu Fan's secret came out. He lit the cigarette and looked at Kang Xing seriously. He told him that no one could take Lu Fan away today. Kang Xing got very angry when he heard this. When he looked at Shanhai, told him to stop talking trash because he didn't think Lu Fan was hiding something. He said, Shanhai is going too far as he is defying orders from an envoy. As Kang Xing was about to turn around, Shanhai grabbed his arm and said, even if he thinks he is going too far, he will accept it. The tension rose between them, and the system window informed that Qin Shanhai was a level 57 knight, and Kang Xing was level 57 swordsman. I will report your actions to higher-ups of Longdu, Kang Xing replied, with an angry tone. Principal Bai then calmed them down, saying that they must not disrupt the major exam. Qin Shanhai then asked Kang Xing that isn't he curious about the secret of Lu Fan, which can make the higher-ups of Longdu and Jin family shocked. Kang Xing then realized that Lu Fan was currently in the nightmare level. This revelation shocked him. The scene changes to Lu Fan, who is standing in front of a gate while thinking that he wanted to see how far he can go by just relying on himself. And now that he has this passive skill, it's better to summon Xiao Yi early to gain more experience. The status window then showed all his stats, which included the new growth acceleration skill. This skill increased the experience gained by the pet 100%. Kang Xing then questioned that how Lu Fan dared to challenge the nightmare difficulty, and what is special about him. The principal of first school then replied saying, "Didn't you see him taking out multiple opponents in a single move earlier?" In the next instant, Lu Fan shouted, "Come out Xiao Yi," and summoned the dragon. And it appeared with the loud roar. Both the principal and Kang Xing were surprised at this sudden appearance of the dragon. Kang Xing was out of the words. The only thing he muttered was, This is a dragon." The dragon then raised its claw and attacked the door. Watching the dragon's attack, Qin Shanhai was sweating. He thought that although he has seen it once, seeing it again is still shocking. In the next instant, the dragon destroyed the door completely, and the entire area was filled with rubble. Qin Shanhai turned around and asked everyone that they have now seen Lu Fan's secret, and all the people in the room were sweating with the appearance of the dragon. Qin Shanhai then pointed toward the screen and announced that Lu Fan is the only dragon tamer in the history who has a real dragon. Principal Jin was also sweating. The only word he could speak was Lufin. Really came the giant dragon? They continued watching the screen where it was showing the nightmare trial second floor, and the dragon was using its flame breath to burn everything in the sight. There were huge flames everywhere, and Lu Fan was also cutting the giant plant monsters without any effort. In an instant, the notification announced that the second floor is now cleared. Looking at the massacre Lu Fan did at the second floor, the principal of the first middle school thought that this is the power of the real dragon race. A class without the third transformation will not be able to compete with him. The other guy behind him agreed with him, saying it's too terrifying. After leveling up, it will be enough to destroy the entire country on its own. They were both in the shock, witnessing the dragon's tremendous power. With the completion of second floor, Lu Fan took the first place on the leaderboard with 50,000 points. The second place was Hong Wu with 27,550, and the third place were Little Qin and Tao Xiaoman with 12,570 points each. Lu Fan kept climbing the tower and conquering all the floor easily with the help of Dragon. Now the scene showed him at the 13th floor of the Nightmare Trial, where Dragon was relentlessly killing all the monsters, and Lu Fan was also launching big slashing attacks with his big black machete. He was killing all the beasts without mercy, and the notification informed that the 13th floor was now cleared, witnessing the situation. The principal Jin then wondered not only the dragon, but Lu Fan has also gained strength miraculously. He guessed what that his various attributes must all exceed 100 at this point, and even without summoning the giant dragon, he can still easily rank first in the Zhenghai city. Qin Shanhai asked Kang Xing that after witnessing how powerful a real dragon is, does he still really wants to bring Lu Fan in front of the higher-ups? Kang Xing replied saying that today he really witnessed the power of a dragon, and he understood now that why can Shanghai dare to offend the Jin family. After hearing this, King Shanghai said that he will send a video of a segment of Lufin's major exam to the teacher, and from now on, there is no need for a special envoy to bother Lu Fan and the Jin family. He recommended Kang Xing to go back. Kang Xing asked, "By teacher, you mean?" "Town North Marquis Tujing," Qin Shanhai replied. By this time, Lu Fan has already reached the 20th floor of Nightmare Trial. He was standing in the dark corridor, and there was a purple light at the end of the corridor. The purple light came toward him, and it was a magic spell casted by a dark sacrifice, which was level 15. The status window informed that it has various abilities, including Black Curse, which decreased all target attributes by 50% and increased all friendly target attributes by 25%. The other ability it had was Merge into Darkness, which pulls it and all the allies into the shadows and became immune to all the attacks for 15 seconds. The last ability it had was Dark Control, which helped it to command the Dark Knights behind it. This ability gave full control of Dark Knights to Dark Sacrifice. Looking at all the enemies, Lu Fan thought that with all the accelerated growth effect, Xiao Yi should be close to leveling up. He ordered Xiao Ye to use Lava Blaze and our Waifu dragon. Xiao Ye started charging the Lava Blaze attack in the next moment. The dragon released a massive fire burst, and the status window informed that the attack continuously spew flames forward, dealing damage while healing the dragon. The entire floor then got covered with the flames, and all the knights and menacing enemies were burned to crisp. The notification then informed that the 20th floor was now cleared. Several other notifications popped, which informed that the Black Dragon level has now increased to 11, and Lu Fan's level now increased to 16 with the completion of 13th floor. Lu Fan's scores reached 90,000, while the other players were way behind him. Lu Fan then smiled and told Waifu Xiao Yi to let together conquer the Heavenly Tower. The scene changes to a loud explosion on the 50th floor of the Fear Trial. It was Hong Wu's doing. A new notification appears, announcing that the 50th floor has been cleared. He thought that it was a misfortune that this year's grand examination was truly perverse. He wondered that these monsters should be at least on the 70th floor of the trial. He believed that regardless of the toughness of the challenge, he will be the first place and Qin Kui will be her only close competition, but she is in a team and her points will be halved. He affirmed that the title of the top scholar in the Southern Province examination is destined to be him. He started laughing while asking his principal to keep watching his performance. He continued saying that the principal should now contact the heads of top 10 academies to prepare for his admission. Wow. This guy is truly delusional and self-centered. The principals in the room were not even looking at him and continued watching Lu Fan. The principal Jin said that the Tower of Letters' 50th floor is a considerable hurdle. In the past, all the Southern Province scholars stumbled at this hurdle. The principal of the first middle school adds in saying that this level is watershed even if Lu Fan passes this level. His pace will be much slower for the next levels as the difficulty will rise from this level. The scene changes to Lu Fan standing at the 50th level of the Nightmare Trial. The area is filled with heavy snow. Lu Fan is checking the status window of Xiao Yi. The status window shows that she has learned a new skill. This new skill is called Shape Transformation. It will allow her to change into 4 different forms. The forms she can change are Young Dragon form. This form increases all the attributes and the consumption is reduced by 50%. The second form is called Dragon Maiden form. This form is changed due to the blood pact with Lu Fan. Damn. I like this phone, she should always stay in this one. I think this is the main Waifu form she always takes. The third one is Destruction Dragon Open form. This phone decreases this strength by 50%, but increases the spirit by 100%. In this form, she will also acquire new skills named Daylight Incineration and Lava Eruption. The last available form is World-Ending Water form. In this form, the spirit is reduced by 50%, but the strength is increased by 100%. The skills acquired in this form are Earthbend and Fearful Roar. While he was busy checking the status window, the stones around him started moving and formed a shape of big creature with a red glaring eye at him. There were total of 3 monsters. The status window informs that this entity is Amethyst Mountain Giant. Its level is 20, and it has many scales including Mountain Arm Landslide and Amethyst Rock. The Mountain Rock skill deals a massive amount of damage in front by swinging the rock arm. The Amethyst Rock skill reduced the magic damage received by 50%, and it makes the monster immune to armor-piercing effects. Looking at the situation, Principal Jin questioned that how is he going to fight 3 nightmare bosses at the same time? The principal of First Middle School also added saying that he knew that the 50th floor would slow Lu Fan's speed of climbing the tower. He thought that Lu Fan's score is already high enough that he is first in Jianghai City. According to him, it is very likely that this score will make him the top scholar of the Southern Province. He invades saying that Lu Fan is such a promising student, and why is he not from the First Middle School? The scene changes to the 50th floor, where the monsters were about to attack our boy, Lu Fan. The status window showed that the monsters are using Mountain's arm attack. The attack was about to reach Lu Fan, while he was thinking that reaching halfway up the Tower of Ladder, the difficulty has increased from previous floors. Since the difficulty is increased, he should also raise his power. In the meantime, Xiao Ye blocked the incoming attack with her left hand, and Lu Fan was standing in the middle of the attack without even breaking a sweat. He ordered Xiao Yi to try the World Ender form. She instantly roared in agreement, and in the next moment, the dragon's body was surrounded by the red flames. Looking at the transformation principal, Jin said that Lufin is preparing for something while the dragon was starting to emerge in her new form. Xiao Yi's new form was indeed a cool one. Her entire body was off pitch black color with menacing red eyes. The system then informed about the successful transformation. The dragon's strength was increased from 456 to 2912, and her spirit decreased from 1424 to 712. She also gained 2 new scales, Earth Shatterer and World Ending. All the people in the monitoring room were amazed by the dragon's transformation. Principal Jin questioned what? This dragon can also switch combat forms? Qin Shanhai was also surprised with this new development and said that such a transformation sends shiver down his spine. The scene changes to our boy Lufan. The monster was about to attack from behind, but he instantly saw the attack coming and dodged it without any effort. By jumping into air. He used Dragon Inspiration skill, which inspired him and the dragon, resulting in increasing all attributes and attack power by 10%. He ordered Xiao Yi to launch Mighty Jaw Assault on one of the monsters. With this attack, the dragon instantly shattered one of the monster's head. Watching this scene, the principal of First Middle School was shocked and said that a level 20 boss was shattered just like that. Looking at the situation, Principal Jin assumed that to shatter the defense of the Amethyst Mountain Giant, the POW that attack launched by the dragon must have to exceed 2,000 points. While the first monster was getting shattered, the second monster tried to grab Lu Fan, but he easily maneuvered his body to avoid the grasp of the monster. Then, he used Dragon Claw to launch an attack on the monster, which resulted in a big explosion. Qin Shanhai then questioned old Qian that now looking at Lu Fan's strength, don't he feel fortunate that he stopped him from taking Lu Fan away? Old Qian was out of words and couldn't say anything in response to this question. He was focusing on the ongoing battle. Lu Fan was effortlessly dodging all the attacks of the monster, and then the dragon launched World-Ending Roar, which added vulnerability effect to the monster. Lu Fan then announced that he will deliver the final blow, but to his surprise, the dragon had already launched Earth Shatter skill, which caused a message damage to the entire area and opened a large black pit, and the monster fell into it. The system then announced that the black dragon leveled up to level 12 and Lu Fan leveled up to level 6. Lu Fan was extremely happy with this outcome and thought that choosing the nightmare level was indeed the correct choice. He continued thinking that the difficulty is easy for him as long as it rises with each level, because he will also grow stronger after clearing every level. Then the notification announced that the 50th floor was conquered successfully, and he started walking toward the portal to go to next floor, and the dragon was following right behind him. After witnessing the battle, Qin Shanhai said that it seems that so-called 50th floor watershed poses no difficulty for Lu Fan. The principal of First Middle School added saying the dragon's strength exceeded his understanding. Principal Jin then questioned Special Envoy Qian about his extensive experience in the Dragon City to discern the terrifying numerical value of the dragon's strength attribute after changing the form. To this question, he answered saying that he has seen many big shots in Dragon City take action, and if he compared the power to those guys, the strength attribute of this dragon after changing form must be at least 2,500 points. At this statement, the principal of First Middle School was surprised and shouted 2,500 points. Aren't our levels and attributes not worth mentioning? Principal Jin then thought that as he previously anticipated, the attributes of the dragon will only be more, not less. The principal of First Middle School then said that since they have passed the 50th floor, the X+1 mode will gradually become apparent. X+1 Qin Shanhai questioned. Yes, the X+1 mode was established by the scholar who first designed the trial tower. Principal Jin started explaining. He continued saying that after the examinees boss the 50th floor, every floor with a large number of ordinary monsters will encounter one boss floor. This makes the trial more like a real secret realm. The examines will constantly be in mortal danger. However, in the nightmare level tower of the ladder, whether it's X or 1, all have been replaced with the nightmare level bosses. He continued his explanation saying in the nightmare mode X+1, where the boss is not singular but multiple at a time. the attributes of each boss will also increase exponentially. At this explanation, Qin Shanhai replied, saying that indeed it sounded formidable, but they should keep paying attention to Lu Fan. He said that for Lu Fan, there is no need to ponder over the intricacies of X+1 while the scene showed Lu Fan fighting fiercely and defeating another boss with his big black machete. The dragon was chewing another boss's head, and the notification window informed that the level 70 has been cleared. With this, the dragon leveled up to 13th, and Lu Fan's level rises to 18th. Qin Shanhai continued saying that it was evident that the ladder tower from the 50th floor onward has been designed with increasing difficulty. However, with the World Ender Dragon Xiao Yi by his side, there was no need for strategies to pass this grand test. Lu Fan started walking while wiping his mouth and asked Xiao Yi to follow his lead, and she agreed with the role while splitting the dead monster's head in half. Witnessing this spectacle principle, Jin said that in just a matter of minutes, Lu Fan has already reached the 78th floor. The principal of the first middle school agreed, saying that to be honest, this year's letter tower was the most challenging it has ever been. He said he had his doubts about whether anyone could break through the 80s with such a design, but now it seems he was thinking too simply, and the scene showed the rampage of world-ending dragon, which was spitting fire from its mouth, and the monster bosses were running for their life. Then the notification announced that the 76th floor was cleared. The next floor's boss was a giant worm, which was about to attack Lu Fan. He used dragon blood armor transformation and killed the boss instantly with the single attack while the dragon was holding its head with her right hand. After killing this boss monster, the dragon rises to level 14, and Lu Fan's level raised to 19. The system notification informed that 83 Tha floor was cleared successfully. Principal Jin then said that in the past, many geniuses pushed themselves to their limit for the reward of clearing the tower, but in the end, they only get exhausted and perished in the grand trial. In response to Principal Jin's statement, Qin Shanhai said that when the candidates reaches the 70s on 80's floor, just steps away from the ultimate reward of the grand test, they would obviously will not be willing to exit. Principal Jin then pointed toward the scoreboard and declared that Lu Fan is different. He might be the only candidate in the last decade or so capable of clearing all 100 floors. The principal of First Middle School cut off Principal Jin, saying that although the bosses of each level are not as powerful as in the original secret rooms, they should not forget the difficulty of the 99th floor is high. Then the other principal in the room pointed at the screens and announced that Lu Fan has reached the 99th floor. The scene that changes to the 99th floor of the Nightmare Trial. Lu Fan was walking in a broken building. He reached a point where the stairs were leading to a big throne, and it was surrounded by shadows holding weapons. A closer look revealed that there were 4 knights standing beside a broken throne. All of these knights were headless and were ready to attack anyone coming their way. When Lu Fan got a little closer, the candles in the room were lit all at once. There were also blue flames on the heads of all the knights, which indicated that they are aware of his presence and were ready to deal with him. The notification window then informed that the soldiers were called World Enders. The headless knight, they were all level 55. They had multiple scales including World Ender Penetration, in which the knight hit the target with a penetration effect and deals an additional 400% damage. The second skill was World Ender Counterattack. This killed was triggered when any knight takes any damage and the long sword knight counterattack is triggered automatically. The third skill they had were World Ender Thunder. The twin sword knight was imbued with lightning, which increased attack speed and added extra lightning damage to the attack. The fourth skill, World Ender Beheading, in which the Great Axe Knight locks onto a target and instantly kills it when the target's health drops below 57%. The last skill they had was Night Oath. With the scale, all 4 knights shared their health and defense, which also resulted in boosted health and defense by 400%. Looking at the knights, Lu Fan thought that from the Shattered Kingdom, the Headless Knights, the secret room is quite famous. All the secret rooms were designed from real history, like the formation of the Morning Village. The Shattered Kingdom came to be hundreds of years ago when the Undead Legion invaded and the king was slain by them. While Lu Fan was thinking this, the knight with the axe already charged at him with World Ender Beheading attack. To counter all these attacks, Lu Fan thought that the most reliable method to clear this trial is to focus fire on one knight and control all the others. Without control skills at his disposal, he can only attack all 4 of them at once to clear the trial. He instantly jumped high in the air above all the knights and prepared to attack. The knights instantly launched a counterattack with the world and penetration, but Lu Fan deflected all the penetration attacks with his big black machete. Then, getting an opportunity, he attacked one of the knight with the slash, but to his surprise, a blue flame healed the knight. This attack triggered the world and the counterattack condition, and the knight with this word launched a heavy attack toward Lu Fan. But he successfully blocked the attack with his big black machete and yelled, "Now is the time." Hearing this, Xiao Ye sprang into action and launched a big fire attack which tore through the castle. The entire castle was in flames. Lu Fan and Xiao Ye was standing at the edge of the broken floor, which broke due to the attack of the dragon. Lu Fan praised Xiao Yi for the good attack. The knight with dual swords yelled, "For my king," and rushed toward Lu Fan while launching World Ender Thunderbolt attack. He demanded that Lu Fan should pay with his life, but Lu Fan was not a weakling. Our Giga Chad boy blocked this incoming attack with his big black machete. The spark from weapons colliding were covering the entire field. Taking advantage of this stalemate, all the other knight rushed to attack Lu Fan. He jumped away in time to avoid all the attacks. Lu Fan that he can't continue to linger and this floor, and he must quickly head to the 100th floor. He commanded Xiao Ye to get ready for the big attack, and the dragon started charging the skill. At Lu Fan's command, she launched lava blaze toward all the knights.
The tale continues as Xiao Yi continuously showers the enemies with lava flames. The dragon continuously flew flames forward, dealing damage and healing itself. Soon, they incinerate all the demon soldiers to ashes. With their short time, all the demons and bosses of level 99 are defeated. The system then informs that level 99 has been completely cleared and Black Dragon has been updated to level 15. The system reveals that the Black Dragon has acquired a new skill. Lu Fan looks at the system and finds it impressive that Xiao Yi has gained a new skill once again, and he himself has been upgraded to level 20. Excited, he reflects that now only the final level trial remains. Meanwhile, everyone in the surveillance room gazes at the screen in stunned silence. The half-bald middle school principal is taken aback to see that the door to the final level of the nightmare-level Great Trial has been unlocked. Mr. Qin remarks that it seems they are about to witness history in the making. Even the principal Bai, who looks like cheap copy of Dumbledore, is surprised, noting that the trial has reached the 100th level. He questions how this could have happened so effortlessly and expresses concern, stating that he's afraid as they never intended candidates to pass this level. Lu Fan holds a sword in each hand and at this moment thrusts one into the wall before pulling it out. His dragon, Xiao Yi, stands behind him. A strong aura swirls around him, and as Lu Fan moves his sword forward again, it begins to melt in the air. He surveys the scene and realizes that he has reached the 100th floor of the Nightmare Trial, the complete Broken Kingdom's secret realm. In front of him, the Emperor is sitting on his throne, and there are about 500 demon soldiers, and below them lie many dead bodies, creating a frightening scene. The entire area is filled with skeletal remains. Lu Fan learns through the system that this Emperor is known as the Consolidator of the World and is at level 60. Just then, a system notification appears, revealing a new skill called Cataclysm. This 3-stage damage skill allows the Destruction Dragon to detonate the area it flies over, causing immense damage and applying a burning effect. And as the burning effect ends, the dragon dives toward the target area, causing massive damage and detonating the burning area once more. Lu Fan reflects that Xiao Yi has been maintaining the form of the Destruction Dragon, and it is time to witness the Destruction Dragon and this skill. After this, Lu Fan tells Xiao Yi that they have reached the final level, and it is time to make the final push to earn the reward for completing this disaster training. In response, Xiao Yi roars. He then instructs Xiao Yi to switch to the Destruction Dragon form, and Xiao Yi transforms into a fearsome dragon. A powerful aura surrounds her, with flames visible all around and fire erupts from her neck as she grows in size. The system window reveals details about the legendary Black Dragon, indicating its strength is 1484, power is 7202, agility is 2055, and endurance is 2903. Additionally, she has unlocked new skills called All Things Incinerate and Lava Burst. Everyone in the surveillance room is astonished by this transformation. Principal Bai questions if the dragon has adopted a third form. Mr. Qin is briefly stunned by the dragon's fierce flame form and remarks that Lu Fan still has a trick up his sleeve. Simultaneously, a demon commander approaches and orders the skeleton forces to protect the king and launch an all-out attack. The army is mobilized, with the current legion numbering over 500. Lu Fan instructs Xiao Yi to prepare for the challenge ahead. He then charges forward, declaring that it's the entire undead legion from the Shattered Kingdom. Approaching the skeletons, Lu Fan seizes one by the neck. He then commands the dragon that the time has come, urging it to swiftly unleash the cataclysm to eliminate them all. Simultaneously, the destruction dragon roars loudly and takes flight. While airborne, it engulfs the dead soldiers in flames. The system reports that the number of casualties has reached 558. After burning the soldiers for a while, the count is updated to 381. Moments later, the system reports the number of dead soldiers has decreased to 267, then to 173. The dragon's relentless flames rapidly reduce the size of the dead army. Finally, the destruction dragon detonates in an unblasted area, causing a large number of enemies to be burned. Flames rise high as the dragon's fiery wrath spreads. Everyone in the surveillance room stands in awe. The Baldi principal marvels at how a student could possess such formidable skills, recognizing the immense danger and power of this terrifying ability. Mr. Qin remarks that the dead army has been almost completely wiped out. Just then, the system reports that the number of undead troops has dropped to 98. Seconds later, the system revises the count to 42. Meanwhile, the demon commander strides ahead, commanding Lu Fan to kneel before their king. Ripping his dragon sword, Lu Fan calls out the dragon Xiao Yi. Lu Fan's onslaught persists, his strikes finding their mark and dealing significant damage. The number of dead soldiers dwindles to 37, and the dragon returns once more, engulfing the entire area in flames and leaving behind widespread destruction. Observing this spectacle in the surveillance room, Principal Bai ponders if the four horsemen have already been vanquished. He contemplates that the toughest test level so far pales in comparison to Lu Fan's strength. Staring at the point screen above them in astonishment, the other Baldi principal notes that Lu Fan has amassed a staggering 989,120 points, edging closer to 1,000,000 points, a feat that no one has achieved in 30 years. He questions if Lu Fan is just one step away, and if he could truly attain the exam award. Glancing at the system screen, the Dumbledore's dummy remarks that this year's exam is the most challenging yet, suggesting that the reward should be substantial, proposing at least 3 rare pieces of equipment. Meanwhile, Lu Fan strides forward, declaring that all the trash has been cleared up and taunts that they should just now reveal the final boss. The only one remaining is the final boss known as the Emperor of Destruction. Moments later, once the smoke curtain clears, it emerges surrounded by suffocating and malevolent energy. Paying no heed, it stomps on the ground, unsheathes its sword, and fixes Lu Fan with a piercing gaze, accusing him of ignorance. Just then, a system window appears to inform Lu Fan that there is only one undead soldier remaining. The boss gains momentum, leaping forward to attack. In response, Lu Fan activates the ability called Dragon Armor. This allows him to transform his arm into a dragon claw, its power dependent on the black dragon. As the ability activates, his hands morph into dragon claws, and his body is surrounded by an intense aura. Extending his hands toward the boss with a smile, he orders Xiao Yi to prepare for the attack. In response, Xiao Yi extends her claws to the sides, fixing the boss with an aggressive gaze. The boss attacks Lu Fan with all its strength, intending to end his life, but with little effort, he blocks the attack using the dragon claws. While the boss is distracted attacking, Lu Fan commands Xiao Yi to attack. Upon hearing the command, Xiao Yi utilizes the ability called All Things Incinerate. This allows the destruction dragon to flap its wings, releasing 4 fire tornadoes that cause great damage to the affected targets. She spreads her wings to the sides and begins to flap them, creating intense and powerful flames that send the boss flying backward. Somewhat surprised, the boss couldn't help but wonder about this ability. Its body shoots backward, but quickly it plunges its sword into the ground to stop its motion. Once it halts its body abruptly, it looks at its hand and notices that its power is slowly leaving its body. Shocked, the boss wonders why its power is diminishing. The power leaving his body heads towards the ring that Lu Fan wears on his finger. Lu Fan smirks, pointing at the ring, and asks the boss if it has noticed that it is gradually weakening. At that moment, a system window appears, notifying Lu Fan that the Lament Aura is now in effect. He wears the rare quality Lament Ring, which requires a user to be at least level 15. This ring bestows 57 spirit points, 21 stamina points, and 12 strength points. As the Lament Ring slowly saps the boss's life force, it reaches out towards Lu Fan, calling him a scoundrel for resorting to such underhanded tactics. Lu Fan responds with a steely gaze and directs Xiao Yi to activate the second stage of her ability. Xiao Yi spreads her wings wide, gazes skyward, and unleashes a roar. Then she employs the ability known as All Things Incinerate, second stage. This enables her to flap her wings vigorously, generating several fire tornadoes that culminate in a violent explosion. The tornadoes surge towards the boss, detonating near it and hurling its body backwards towards the throne. Swiftly, the boss plants both feet firmly on the ground, halting his momentum and prepares to retaliate with a deadly strike. However, Lu Fan seizes the moment and in an instant, he unsheaths his dagger, grips it firmly with both hands, gathers momentum, emerges from the flames towards the boss, and launches a surprise attack. The boss tries his best to react and fend off the assault. It proves futile. Lu Fan forcefully plunges the dagger into the boss's chest, causing its body to crash against the throne. His attack is so potent that the dagger pierces through the stone throne within seconds. The boss succumbs to its wounds, and a system window appears to inform Lu Fan that the current number of undead soldiers is 0. As a reward, Xiao Yi reaches level 17, and Lu Fan reaches level 22. Approaching the throne, Lu Fan places one leg on the arm of the throne and one hand on the shoulder of the boss's corpse. With his other hand, he forcefully pulls the dagger from his chest. He gazes at the corpse, affirming to Xiao Yi that everything is over. Meanwhile, in the surveillance room, everyone is left speechless as they witness Lu Fan's victory. Principal Bai, with a surprised expression, reveals to the others that in the past 30 years, no one has managed to score 1 million points. The baldy principal remains silent, visibly shocked by the events. Mr. Qin crosses his arms and remarks to Principal Bai that their school's reputation is about to skyrocket. Meanwhile, Lu Fan turns his back on the boss's corpse and begins to move away from the area. He rests the dagger on his shoulder, slips his hand into his pants pocket, and turns his head towards Xiao Yi. He explains that they have already passed the trial, so now they can return home. He also asks her if she misses his aunt's food. Xiao Yi starts flying and follows Lu Fan. She approaches him, closes her eyes, and roars with a pleasant smile, affirming that she does. Just then, a system window appears, informing him that floor 100 has been successfully cleared. Then another system window appears, congratulating Lu Fan for successfully completing the night-level trial in the southern province. A chest materializes in front of Lu Fan. He simply puts his hands in his pants pockets and silently observes as the chest opens to reveal several objects. The first item is a blue book named The Wrath of the Ice Dragon King, a rare quality item categorized as a skill book. Only Dragon Masters and Linguistic Wizards can utilize this item, with the requirement being level 20. Upon using it, one can learn a magical skill called The Wrath of the Ice Dragon King, which freezes the area around the target, causing damage and adding slowing and freezing effects. The duration, damage amount, and range of the effect can vary depending on the user's proficiency. Lu Fan had initially assumed he would only possess control skills after reaching level 30 in the second transformation. However, he now realizes that he can coordinate with Xiao Yi's output skills. The second item is a ring named the Spirit Wind Ring, also of rare quality. The requirement to use it is level 20. This ring grants the user 77 agility points, 35 stamina, and 32 spirit points. It features an ability called the Language of the Spirit Wind, bestowing the bearer with the blessing of the Spirit Wind and increasing the agility attribute by 35%. While it's unfortunate that Xiao Yi couldn't receive the bonus effect, the ring remains incredibly useful for Lu Fan. The third and final item is a red cloak called Flames and Frost Cloak. This legendary quality item requires level 20 to use and grants 112 stamina points, 79 spirit points, 56 strength points, and 54 agility points. It possesses an ability called Frost and Fire Enhancement, which reduces damage received from ice and fire elements by 3%, decreases negative effects caused by ice and fire enemies by 50%, and increases damage inflicted on ice and fire enemies by 30%. This ability can be used by both Lu Fan and Xiao Yi. Lu Fan drapes the cloak over his shoulder, slips the ring onto his finger, and takes the book in one hand. With the other hand, he retrieves the stone to return to school. He glances at the book and, with a smile, thinks it's time to head back. Deciding to give Xiao Yi a rest, he temporarily dismisses her. Using the stone, Lu Fan creates a portal and heads to the surveillance room where all the teachers are gathered. Reaching there, Lu Fan asks Principal Bai if he can go home and wait for the results. Upon seeing Lu Fan, everyone is surprised. Principal Bai approaches him, looking at him with a proud gaze, and praises him for being impressive, mentioning that he is the pride of the school, and his photo will always hang on the school's wall of fame as a celebrity. The baldy principal approaches Lu Fan and then turns to Principal Bai, explaining that the wall of fame is filled with photos of heroes who fought against monster invasions and died in battle. He questions if by doing this, Principal Bai is not cursing Lu Fan. Irritated, Principal Bai turns towards the baldy principal and tells him to go away, adding that if anyone is cursed, it is him. He asserts that he doesn't care about these concerns since Lu Fan has broken the record in the grand exam and his future is immeasurable. The Baldy principal laughs it off, stating that no matter what, this grand exam has made Lu Fan famous. Meanwhile, Mr. Qin approaches Lu Fan and with a serious look explains that even though he had mentally prepared himself to see the grand exam, he still couldn't help but be surprised at Lu Fan's strength. Lu Fan, setting his emotions aside, looks seriously at Mr. Qin and reminds him that he had fulfilled the conditions. He asks if now the princess of Taiki Kingdom will not throw a tantrum again. Closing his eyes and smiling, he assures Mr. Qin not to worry because he will fulfill his part of the promise, adding that the teacher should have received it by now. Upon hearing this, Lu Fan becomes somewhat confused and asks which teacher he is referring to. Mr. Qin places his hand on Lu Fan's chest, telling him not to worry about it and to focus on which educational institution to choose. Meanwhile, the special envoy from Longdu, Cheng Song, silently grabs his cap and stands up. The four others approach Lu Fan and explain that the top 10 academic institutions will be competing to attract him. They also mention that wealthy merchants from the southern province will seize this opportunity to get close to him and establish relationships. They advise him to be cautious of their intentions. While they are busy talking, Zong puts on his cap, turns his back to them, and starts walking away. The Baldy principal, eager to see the dragon, asks Lu Fan to call her immediately so they can all see her with their own eyes. Principal Bai interjects, warning him not to do it because if Shou-Yi appears, she might destroy the school. According to the ranking table, Lu Fan is in first place with an astonishing 1,200,199 points. Principal Bai can't help but praise Lu Fan, acknowledging the incredible nature of the score. He adds that no one has been able to break this record in the last 50 years. At the same time, in the Dragon Realm of the far north, within an unexplored level 60 territory, there is a base amidst the snow. Inside the base, a man with gray hair watches recordings of Lu Fan and Shou-Yi fighting in the trial. After viewing all the recordings, the man grabs a bottle of wine, drinks from it, and then tightly holds the bottle before placing it on the table. He closes his eyes, sighs, and smiles, finding the experience very refreshing. This man is the Northern Frontier Marcus Tujing. Tujing sits in his office, a laptop beside him displaying the recordings of Shou-Yi. While he is distracted, someone knocks on the door. He invites them in, and a man wearing a jacket and holding some reports enters the office. The man apologizes for the interruption and informs Tujing that he has brought some reports. Tujing picks up the bottle of wine again and with a serious look asks if any evidence has been found. The man places the files on the table, explaining that everything is in the files and confirming that Tujing's student Qin Shanhei's deductions were correct. Tujing pulls his chair closer to the table and silently examines the files. These files contain information about Princess Taiki and her subordinates. The man explains to Tujing that through communication with Special Envoy Cheng Zong and Qin Shanhai, they deduced that Lord Ruan Chenfeng, a high-ranking official at Dragon City, is colluding with the Jin family from Taiki realm. According to the investigation, both Princess Jin Zhu's studies abroad and the recruitment of dragon tamers were approved by Lord Ruan. Upon hearing this, Tujing places the wine bottle on the table and tightens his fist, causing the bottle to crack. He thinks that Ruan Chenfeng is a treacherous bastard. His subordinate, who has white hair, adds that the Jin family and Lord Ruan Chenfeng maintain a superficial relationship between the two countries. However, in private, Lord Ruan has granted many privileges to the Jin family, and they have rewarded him handsomely in return. Learning this, Tujing clenches his teeth and realizes why Ruan had sent an envoy to arrest the dragon tamer master. Furious, he shatters the wine bottle into pieces and starts to stand up, thinking that Ruan Chenfeng is an opportunist aiding the little princess of Taiki in doing whatever she wants in the dragon realm. Seeing Tujing's growing anger, his subordinate steps back looking surprised. Tujing stands, extends his hand to the side, and with a serious look, orders his subordinate to transmit the directive that Ruan Chenfeng is to be stripped of all his charges and powers. From now on, there will be no place for him in the high ranks of Dragon City. He instructs his subordinate to execute this order immediately. Furious, he adds that if Ruan has any objections, he can come and talk to him, and as for the Jin family, if they try to contact Ruan Chenfeng again, he instructs his subordinate to send the Griffin squad to greet them. Upon hearing this order, the subordinate responds with an understanding nod. Tujing turns his back on him, points at the door, closes his eyes, and asks him to wait as there is still one more thing to address. He instructs his subordinate to keep a close eye on which school this dragon tamer chooses and to notify the school director immediately in order to provide resources for Lu Fan. A subordinate acknowledges the command. Tujing places his hands on his hips, turns his head toward the window, and reflects that the Dragon Realm now has a legendary young man who truly brings joy to the people. To him, Lu Fan is someone very interesting, and he plans to find and meet this legendary young dragon Tamer after finishing his tasks in the Northern Realm. However, as the giant red moon hangs in the sky, he ponders the uncertainty of when he will actually be able to complete his mission and finally meet Lu Fan. At the same time in the city, the princess sits on her bed in a luxurious hotel when she receives a call. The caller informs her that Ruan Chengfeng has been dismissed by the Marquis of the North. Hearing this, she panics. The person on the other end asks her to calm down, assuring her that there is still good news. Sitting on the bed with one hand resting on it and holding her phone with the other, she inquires what the good news might be, expressing concern that without Ruan, they wouldn't be able to catch the Dragon Master. The caller explains that she no longer needs to waste her valuable time on Lu Fan. With the big exam results publication nearing, they have discovered that besides Lu Fan from Jianghai City, there is another dragon tamer in Kingzhou City. Upon hearing this, the princess's expression changes drastically from fury to surprise. She can't help but smile wickedly, thinking that this is indeed good news. This time, she hopes the other party will be someone with foresight. Lu Fan says goodbye to everyone in the surveillance room and leaves. At the same time, a portal opens and Hongwu steps out. The system announces that Hongwu has passed the South Province exam with 89,250 points, reaching the 72nd floor of the horror level. Feeling a surge of happiness, Hongwu thinks to himself that he will definitely become the champion of level 72, and that 10 universities will compete to accept him. He also anticipates a generous award and feels it might be time for him to reach for the stars. In his mind, Hongwu envisions the impending encounter with the principal. As he nears the half-bald figure, he imagines himself initiating the conversation, inquiring about the commotion. Imaginary praise follows as the principal acknowledges Hongwu's exceptional score, affirming that no one else deserves the champion title more than him. Excitement courses through Hongwu's thoughts. He perceives that they all are gathered here for him, and this is his moment to shine. While in reality, as Hongwu approaches the baldy principal and greets him, the principal turns around and questions if Hongwu has completed his training. Hongwu responds affirmatively, disclosing his score of 89,250, uncertain if it suffices for the champion title. The half-bald principal approaches Hongwu and places a comforting hand on his shoulder, assuring him that he performed exceptionally well and can easily secure admission to any of the top 10 universities. Hongwu, surprised by this encouragement, looks at the baldy principal with curiosity. The principal elaborates that the grades are important, but he should know his limits. He tells Hongwu that his injuries are serious, and he should get them treated first. Shocked, Hongwu tries to comprehend the situations. He wonders why the principal doesn't seem so impressed. He questions whether the principal has not seen his high score or if there is another reason for his words. However, with his small head, he soon deduces that the principal's intention is to prevent him from becoming arrogant and to remind him of the importance of humility. Acknowledging the principal's advice, Hongwu expresses his gratitude and understanding. 7 days later, on the announcement day of the nightmare exam results, as soon as Lu Fan and his aunt open the door, they find themselves surrounded by reporters. Auntie's expression shifts to one of alarm as she finds herself surrounded by journalists and fans of Lu Fan. Amidst the crowd, a fan steps forward, offering a gift box to Lu Fan, accompanied by a warm invitation to visit his estate. Meanwhile, journalists press for details about Lu Fan's university plans, while another fan attempts to present a gift. The excitement in the air intensifies as people clamor for a glimpse of Lu Fan, and their questions contribute to the bustling atmosphere. Mr. Qin's timely arrival adds to the commotion as he announces the imminent release of the university entrance exam results, heralding Lu Fan as the top student in the South Province. Suggesting they continue their conversation indoors, Auntie leads the way. Mr. Qin presents 6 boxes, each containing a prize of 50 million yuan for the Southern Province's best student. Urging Lu Fan to accept the generous gift, Mr. Qin emphasizes the honor it represents. Meanwhile, Lu Fan checks his mobile and receives notification of the Southern Province College entrance examination results. Lu Fan clinches the top spot, though his total score remains confidential. Chen Tianji follows closely behind, securing second place with a total of 215,628 points. Mr. Qin reveals that besides the prize money, Principal Bai has also sent a reward, and Lu Fan marvels at the generosity. With anticipation, Mr. Qin unveils the gifts. The first is a skill book requiring level 20, containing the magical skill Roar of the Blue Dragon King. This skill unleashes a potent lightning bolt forward from the king's roar, inflicting high damage and a paralyzing effect. Subsequent attacks add 20% of the power factor, decreasing by 1 layer with each strike, with a 20% chance to paralyze the enemy target. The second gift is a thunder potion of mythological quality, enhancing the power and resistance of lightning skills, permanently increasing the power attribute by 20. Lu Fan considers how this skill will synergize even more effectively with the dragon language spellbook. He imagines Xiao Yu's transition from ice to thunder magic, a transformation that promises remarkable potential. Simultaneously, the third gift is unveiled, the Green Wind Armor, boasting rare attributes requiring level 20 for use. With 46 stamina and 70 strength, it deflects impact damage to the wearer. Mr. Qin elaborates that these awards were meticulously chosen by Principal Bai. Among them are the Flash Wing Boots, enabling lightning speed runs within a 30-second recharge window. Requiring level 20 with 54 stamina and 6 strength, the boot's Lightning Feather Leap skill propels the wearer at lightning speed within a 50-meter radius, with a 30-second cooldown. Inwardly, Lu Fan reflects on the remarkable displacement and damage reduction capabilities of these high-grade items. He muses that new students fresh from their final exams could hardly find gear rivaling their potency, almost on par with Xiao Yi's abilities of unhatching from her egg. Holding the briefcase, Lu Fan affirms the value of the skill, reserved typically for second-level magicians, resolving not to hesitate in its use. The system confirms the acquisition of the Dragon King's war skill, Lightning Flash Wing Boots, Green Wind Armor, and Thunder Potion X1. Meanwhile, Qin Kui arrives, expressing her joy at seeing Lu Fan. She informs him that the presidents of 10 major universities have arrived in Shanghai City, as her father has invited them to their house for an interview. Auntie, inwardly contemplating the busy day, wonders why Qin Kui is present. Upon hearing the news, Lu Fan is taken aback, questioning why they are in such a hurry since the results were just declared. Mr. Qin reassures him, explaining that the university presidents view the video of his grand exam and immediately rush over. Moving closer to Lu Fan, he emphasizes the confidentiality of the video, seen only by senior officials of the universities and the Dragon capital. Mr. Qin adds a mysterious note mentioning that it would not be good if another princess shows up. With a whisper, Mr. Qin informs Lu Fan that the matter concerning Jin Zhu has been handled by the teacher, who is eager to meet Lu Fan in person. Placing his hand on Lu Fan's shoulder, Mr. Qin assures him that there's no need to rush, promising they'll meet later. After this, Qin Kui approaches Lu Fan, appearing shy as she extends a purple card towards him. She explains that she wanted to thank him during her last visit, but unfortunately encountered Jin Zhu instead. Lu Fan, surprised by the gesture, questions its value, stating their agreement was for 1 million, whereas the card cost 10 million dragon coins. Mr. Qin joins them, placing a hand on Lu Fan's shoulder, emphasizing that the card symbolizes the Qin family's gratitude. He then informs Lu Fan that people will arrive in the evening to escort him to Jiangshan Park. Amidst laughter, Mr. Qin jokes about Lu Fan's handling of the villa awarded by the city for being the top scorer in the South Province. Auntie draws closer to Lu Fan, while Qin Kui urges her father not to make fun of Lu Fan. Qin Kui, taking Lu Fan's hand, reminds him of the time and suggests they leave to meet the academy official. In a forest outside Kingzhou City, in the Dragon Kingdom, a jeep pulls up and the arrogant princess steps out. She turns to her subordinate, Kui Hongtae, inquiring about the Dragon Tamer's progress, specifically asking at what level he currently stands. Hongtae reports that the Dragon Tamer has reached level 19 and the Armored Dragon is already at level 14. Commenting on the swift advancement, she remarks on the peculiarity of Dragon Tamers, noting that achieving a level capable of defeating a level 30 boss in such a short time is impressive. Meanwhile, Chen Tianzi, the 19-year-old Dragon Master, confronts a wild bear. Sensing the imminent danger, he springs into action, leaping into the air with the intention of disarming the bear and launching a counterattack. Yet the bear proves to be a formidable opponent, relentlessly pressing its fierce assault. Chen Tianzi retaliates with a single powerful strike, defeating the bear instantly. As a result, his abilities are upgraded and his level increases to 20. Observing Chen Tianji's prowess, the arrogant princess begrudgingly acknowledges his skill, remarking that he hasn't squandered the dragon egg she entrusted to him. Chen Tianji respectfully thanks her, assuring her that he hasn't brought any disgrace on the royal family. The princess then expresses her concern, stating that she would be disappointed if he turned out to be a failure like the previous one. With a stern glance at Kui Hongtae, she declares that from now on, Chen will wield the dragon lance and asks if there are any objections. Hongtae dutifully responds, "As you wish, your excellency." Chen then appears before the princess, placing a hand over his heart in gratitude. He expresses his thanks for the armored dragon and the magical spear, asserting confidently that with his magical reinforcements, he will undoubtedly be able to vanquish the hero of the South Province. Simultaneously, she reflects on Chen Tianji's standing, noting that he currently holds second place with 2,100,000 points. However, the top player, Lu Fan, remains shrouded in mystery as his points have yet to be disclosed. Speculation suggests they could surpass 3 million points. Determined, she sees a glimmer of hope, knowing she still has a chance to claim victory. However, her anger boils at the thought of Lu Fan, and she directs her attention to the dragon Tamer. She commands sternly that he must etch the name of Lu Fan into his memory until he defeats him and seizes his black dragon. Simultaneously, she tells Chen that she will assist him in becoming the most formidable dragon tamer in the history of the Taiki Empire. Promising him great power, she assures him that as her servant, he will rank above all others, except herself. The dragon tamer bows respectfully, reassuring the princess of his loyalty. As the princess departs, she glances back and remarks at Chen that he's wiser than Lu Fan, as she provided Lu Fan with an opportunity to ascend to the top, yet he failed to appreciate it. Before leaving, she instructs Hong Tae to travel to a Shanghai city and investigate which university Lu Fan plans to attend next. With determination, he vows to fulfill her command. However, the princess interjects, stating that if he fails to accomplish this task, he will be dismissed. Thinking about Lu Fan, she warns that he will soon regret his actions against her. At the Qin family villa, outside the reception hall, little Qin asks Lu Fan if he's decided which academy he's going to apply to, hurriedly explaining that it's her dad who wants to know since he said it would be best for her and him to apply to the same academy so that they could look out for each other in the future. Lu Fan agrees and says he's heard teamwork is important in academic studies, and they've worked together before, so she will definitely be his first choice if they went to the wilderness together, but he hasn't decided which academy he wants to go to. He decides to tell her later as little Qin struggles to say something and inwardly admits she doesn't know how many points he scored exactly, but if she doesn't catch up to him soon, the distance between them could grow. She vows to do her best to apply to the same academy as him, and he agrees, remarking that it sounds good while opening a door. He slowly walks into a room where a man stands up and cheerily recognizes him as Lu Fan, saying they all seen his performance in the entrance exam video and calling it impressive. A woman remarks that he's the first dragon tamer in history to have a dragon and asks if he has any academic institutions in mind as the top scorer in the southern province. The man annoyingly tells him that there isn't any need to hesitate because their Jiangnan Academy doesn't play games. They offer an annual scholarship of 10 million dragon coins, and all resources, such as potions and access to secret realms, are freely available. The woman annoyingly mutters that the people sitting here are the heads of the Dragon Kingdom's top academic institutions, yet he has the nerve to come and grab the top score with just these little things. The man angrily swivels towards her as she straightens up and tells Lu Fan that apart from what Jiangnan Academy can offer, Northern Academy will give him 20 million dragon coins per year, as well as access to the secret realms not available to the public in the Snow Kingdom, especially for him. They all start arguing over what they can offer to Lu Fan. One says the Northern Academy does have resources, but they're not lagging behind. One declares that they'll offer these conditions too. Another offers him countless opportunities for special secret realms before the Northern Academy head angrily tells them all that the terms can be negotiated and they can add more if Lu Fan is not satisfied. Watching all the heads squabble with each other, Lu Fan inwardly admits he didn't expect the interview to be like this and has no idea which academy he should choose now. Gohan, head of Dragon Capital Academy, speaks up and declares that this year's national trial quota is selected by the Dragon Capital Academy and tells Lu Fan that this quota can be given to him, stunning them all. Surprised, the man from Jiangnan Academy asks if it's true and how Lu Fan could be at the level of the national trial when he just changed professions. Another one says previous candidates have been strictly selected and other countries are already preparing, so giving such an important quota to a freshman is a joke, while Lu Fan watches them all silently. Lu Fan wonders what the national trial means, so the heads of academies explain that it is a super-secret realm constructed jointly by 23 countries around the world. Every 3 years, each of the countries sends a participant under the age of 25 to represent their country in the secret realm of the national trial. For the stability of the realm, the participants must be newcomers and national-level experts are not allowed to participate, as this is a trial that attracts worldwide attention and the rewards are extremely rare treasures. Surprised, the head of Northern Academy turns to face Lu Fan and exclaims that he has to commit to the next trial then, and this one is starting in half a year. The head of Jiangnan Academy looks worried and questions if it isn't a bit too much for Dragon Capital Academy to recruit like this, but she confidently explains that those who pass the national trial will qualify to become national-level experts. From being the top in the southern province to being the top in the Dragon Kingdom, Dragon Capital Academy can offer Lu Fan that. In the middle of all this commotion, a screen suddenly appears in front of Lu Fan which states that the treasure map has been sent today. Surprised, he inwardly admits the second divine treasure map came after a long time. He remembers how the last map led him to the Black Dragon Egg, wondering what this one will give him, and decides that he has to go to Dragon Capital Academy since the safe zone is present in the academy. Guhan asks him what he thinks since this is the greatest sincerity Dragon Capital Academy can offer, and she doesn't know what else will satisfy him if this doesn't, so he positively says he's decided and announces that he will be attending Dragon Capital Academy. He wonders if she could help him apply for it, which she's surprised by. She inquires about what the issue is and agrees to help as long as it's not too difficult. 4 days later, as Lu Fan pulls the shutters down, On-Han Ki sighs and says she never thought she would leave this place one day, admitting that she's really reluctant now that she's lived here for so many years. Lu Fan gets up, dusting off his hands, and asks what there is to be reluctant about when they have a villa and savings now. She remembers how he moved in when he was just a kid and says time sure flies while motioning how small he was. Little Qin and Tao Xiaoman arrive in their car, announcing that they're here to pick her and Lu Fan up as Little Qin happily waves at them. Xiaoman says they're all going to be students at Dragon Capital Academy now, and Little Qin's family has chartered a plane, so they should go register together. As On-Han Ki happily waves to greet them, Lu Fan sees that Xiaoman has applied as well, so she brashly explains that she got the same score as Little Qin, so she decided to apply after seeing her go to Dragon Capital Academy for him. Little Qin hurriedly tries to cut her off while furiously blushing. On-Han Ki apologizes for troubling them all and admits she never expected that Lu Fan would help her, thinking about how he asked Gu Han for an application for her, explaining that she has the rare hidden profession of an enchantment chef, to which Gu explained it was possible, but whether or not they admit her will have to be decided after they go back and discuss it. She hugs Lu Fan and tearfully explains that she became a chef this year and said she dreamed of going to a higher academy like everyone else since she really wanted to live like she once used to when Lu Fan was young, but she never expected him to remember. He smilingly asks her to not cry, and Little Qin happily tells them to get in the car. As they're boarding the plane, Lu Fan remembers On-Han Ki's hard work for him and her dissatisfaction and loss after becoming a chef. He promised to bring her a better life and will do it because this is just the beginning. A while later, when they arrive in the Dragon Kingdom, On-Han Ki happily remarks that it's really lively here and the capital really is different, and Little Qin notices that they're selling really rare recipes here. Lu Fan notices the Dragon Capital Academy ahead of them. Bratty Princess walks out of a huge car with a pair of guards and annoyingly recognizes Lu Fan, who wonders why she's here and why she just won't go away. She annoyingly watches him as a guard dressed in discreet cloths recognizes him as the Dragon Tamer from Shanghai City and slowly approaches Lu Fan, remarking that it's better for him to handle it, but Xin stops him, explaining that without Ru and Changfeng, they'll be sent back to their country if they start a fight here, so it's not the right time yet. The man apologizes as Little Qin says she remembers her dad saying she originally came to the Dragon Kingdom study and wonders if he was actually talking about Dragon Capital Academy instead. Xiaoman asks what's wrong with them, while On-Han Ki tries to stop Lu Fan. Gu Han happily sees that both their groups arrive together and tells them to come in. Surprised, she asks if they really don't know each other when they're the first and second Dragon Tamers in the Southern Province, which is why the Dragon Capital Academy calls them the Twin Stars of the Southern Province. Lu Fan is shocked to hear that Chen Tianzi II in the Southern Province is also a Dragon Tamer before Chen tells Lu Fan that he's heard his name for a long time. Lu Fan tells Gu that they know Xin and Chen Mao and asks if they can rest now since they've had a long journey to the Dragon Capital, says they should leave quickly, and he turns around to go. Lu Fan and the others start to leave, and Gu decides to show them their accommodations and says she can change anything in advance if they're not satisfied with it. She informs them that she'll explain the freshman orientation tomorrow, so Bratty Princess says she'll walk herself. Hu shows Lu Fan and the girls the villa area for first-year students that contains a total of 30 villas. She explains that every year the teachers review the entrance exam videos to evaluate the freshmen's comprehensive ranking, after which the top 30 can live in the villa area. In the comprehensive ranking, since Lu Fan is ranked first, number 1 is where he will live. Chen Tianzi, the second in the Southern Province, is ranked 18th in the comprehensive ranking, so number 18 is his residence. She shows them the villa, and Lu Fan remarks that it seems Chen Tianji accepted Bratty Princess's terms and betrayed his dignity, so it's ridiculous that he and him are called the Twin Stars. Little Qin nervously says she and Xiaoman can't make it into the top 30 comprehensive ranking with their scores and asks if they should go to the student dormitory to check in. Who confirms this and says she'll take them into the dormitory area later, although the conditions are indeed better in the villa area. On-Han Ki cutely clutches Lu Fan's arm, asks if they can live with him then, surprising Little Qin and Xiaoman, who both start blushing. Gu deeply thinks about it and admits there isn't any rule against it. She says it won't be a problem as long as the resident doesn't have any objections. Aunt Han Ki looks up at Lu Fan and confirms with him that he doesn't have any objection, asking if he doesn't want to eat her special cookies anymore. So he hurriedly confirms that he doesn't mind at all. Aunt Han Ki happily grabs little Qin and Xiaomen's arm, saying Lu Fan doesn't mind, so they'll live together, and it will be really good for them to build some rapport and increase their teamwork, since it will be convenient for future expeditions into the secret realms. Okay guys, the moment we all have been waiting for is here. The harem is official now. They are gonna start living together in one place, and you all know what it means. Our Giga Chad is surely taking right steps to achieve his final goal. Lu Fan slowly smiles and tells Little Qin and Xiaomen that it will be better for them to move in with him, and since the dormitory area is quite far from the villa area, so he would have to walk through half the campus if he wanted to find them. Little Qin blushes and embarrassingly agrees to his offer as Xiaomen nervously says she'll go along with whatever Little Qin says and admits the conditions here are much better overall. Happily exclaims that Little Qin can taste her cooking too from now on while swinging around with her, as Xiaomen points towards Lu Fan and embarrassingly warns him that living together is fine and all for them, but he should not get any funny ideas about Little Qin since she'll be watching him. A screen suddenly appears stating that the location of the treasure map is nearby as Lu Fan realizes the treasure is in the villa next to him. He asks Gu, who lives in number 2, which she explains that she only manages the southern province and isn't familiar with the freshmen from other areas, although she thinks there's only one girl living in the second villa. Lu Fan asks to go with Gu to their villa first while he goes to meet their neighbor. Happily agrees and tells him to remember to bring a gift to her while the girls stay silent. Lu Fan hurriedly tells her to not overthink it since he just wants to see what the second-ranked person is like. As he's walking off alone, Aunt Han Ki giggles and inwardly remarks that just hearing it's a girl makes him want to visit himself and says he's finally growing up, while Xiaomen gets annoyed, thinking that she really underestimated him since he's still trying to chat up the neighbor even after living with 3 girls at the same time in his villa. As he's going, Lu Fan embarrassingly wonders why it feels like he's being misunderstood. After ringing the bell, he hopes the neighbor will like cake and admits it would be best if he got invited in since they all just moved in, and he needs to get the treasure before the neighbor finds out. As the door opens, he positively starts introducing himself as Lu Fan from number 1, from Shanghai City in the southern province. The girl who's wearing fully black clothes remains silent, so he tries to break the ice between them by offering her the cake, pleasantly saying it's a gift for her. Since they're neighbors now, they should be friends and try to know each other. A screen appears stating that the cake's first use can permanently increase agility by 3 points as the girls still remain silent and they awkwardly stare at each other. She slowly takes the cake from him and turns around, introducing herself as Jian Yang from Yunbai province. Well, look at this new all-rounder babe. Possibly a new addition to our Giga Chad's harem. I would gladly accept her. What about you guys? Let me know in the comments section. Surprised after hearing her speak, Lu Fan nervously watches and marvels at her cute voice, but admits it's hard to talk to her, so he lamely asks if he can come and sit for a bit since he's a little bit thirsty and would appreciate a glass of water. He inwardly panics and admits it's a bad excuse, which makes it obvious that his intentions aren't pure. She moves aside to let him in, so he enthusiastically thanks her and slowly enters inside, but suddenly disappears as soon as she turns around to close the door. As he's rushing through the house with the map open in front of him to see where the treasure is, he decides to find it quickly since he can't stay here long. He opens her bedroom, but there's only her dress and underclothes lying on the bed inside, so he doesn't find anything there. Goes to the bathroom next, but to no avail before finally opening another door and finding the egg in an empty room she must not have entered yet. He happily recognizes it as the second jade egg as a screen appears, stating that he's arrived at the treasure map location. Once he's taken it, he rushes out her door, explaining that he'll be heading back now since he's suddenly not thirsty anymore as she brings out a glass of water for him. A screen states that he's acquired the second treasure. He says it's nice to meet her and hopes to see her at the freshman ceremony tomorrow before disappearing. When he leaves, she goes around her house and notices that her bedroom door is open with her clothes strewn on her bed, seeing which she confusingly wonders if he was a pervert. That night in Villa number 1, Xioi examines the jade dragon egg as Lu Fan remarks that it's just like when he found her egg. He uses his dragon taming skill and the egg suddenly starts cracking before a tiny dragon hatches out of it. Its stats and details state that it has an ability named Life Spring, which applies Life Spring to all friendly targets and continuously restores their life. Jade Light that applies 3 layers of Jade Blessing to the target, removing all debuffs and increasing all attributes by 30%. Each layer of Blessing can block 1 damage. Natural Assimilation can devour equipment, and Jade Dragon Bloodline doubles all effects for dragons and those with a blood connection, while increasing the power of self-healing abilities by 5,000%. Finally, Blood Contract provides a 10% attribute bonus to the Dragon Tamer for the dragon pet. Lufan sees that it looks like the Jade Dragon isn't a combat-type dragon and is clearly meant to be a support type with over 600 spirits. He notices that all effects are going to be doubled for him and Shoei since they share the same bloodline, and remarks that during the big exam, she had a 30% boost from Dragon's encouragement, and when releasing Cataclysm, her spirit attribute exceeded 7,000. So, if he adds the Jade Light from the Jade Dragon, it will double the effect, increasing attributes by another 60%, which would make it close to 12,000. As Shoei cheerily plays with the dragon, he says the Jade Dragon can also assimilate equipment effects, so if it upgrades or assimilates a lot of equipment, he can't even imagine how strong she will become. He adds that there's an important thing he needs to think about and wonders what name he should give it before seeing it chomping down on Shoei's thigh. He hurriedly tells them to stop it and decides to name it Xiofi, declaring that it will be Shoei's little sister from now. She angrily tries to intimidate it, so he tells them to cut it out if they don't want to wake up everyone in the house. The next day, as Lufan, Little Kin, and Xiaomin are walking through the Dragon Capital Academy campus for the freshman enrollment ceremony, Lufan notes that the life professions and combat professions don't attend the enrollment ceremony together, and Little Kin confirms this, remarking that Sister Hans has to go to a different place to attend hers. Xiaomin asks him why there was so much noise coming from his room last night, so he starts to explain what was happening, but is suddenly cut off when 2 boys realize Xiaomin and Little Kin, a priest and a swordswoman, are the 2 new beauties and exclaim at their beauty. One says they're definitely the campus belle level because of how pretty they are, and remarks that going into the secret realm with such beauties would make even dying and they're worth it. He dreams of becoming her boyfriend, but his friend points out the guy next to them, so he says there are 2, and they both can't be his girlfriends. In the auditorium, Lufan remembers how Little Kin told him that Teacher Yu said hidden professions have to sit in the front row, and Xiaomin decided to sit in the back row since she can't sit with her. He remarks that the weird-looking person in front of him looks familiar and remembers him as the loud martial artist from the entrance exam. He gives him a teasing smile, seeing which the martial artist angrily watches him, remembering how the principal asked if he really thought he was the top scorer and told him to check the rankings so that he could see the difference between him and Lufan. The guy furiously says he lost all respect the esteemed principal had for him because of Lufan and finally gets to meet him again. Xiaomin, who's sitting alone, nervously wonders why they're putting all the hidden professions together and if that means Lufan will be with Little Kin every day from now on. Lufan suddenly notices Jian Ying, who's silently sitting in front of them, and awkwardly greets her, so Little Kin confusingly asks if he knows her. He explains that she's their number who lives in the number 2 villa, which surprises Little Kin, who acknowledges that she's beautiful and strong since she ranks 2nd overall. Some students at the back enviously watch him and mutter that coming to Dragon Capital Academy is great since he gets to be surrounded by all the beauties. Someone else asks what that means and what it's got to do with him, even if there are a lot of beauties around him. One decides to be bold and ask for their contact info, but a tall, well-dressed man gets up on the stage and suddenly calls for silence. He introduces himself as Zhao Shengming, a level 78 Thunder Mage, the vice principal of Dragon Capital Academy and professor of the Combat Academy's magic department. He fixes his glass while welcoming all the students on the behalf of Dragon Capital Academy and says their teachers will distribute their ID cards since he doesn't like formalities or empty words, but will inform them of the school rules. As Lufan and Jian, who's sitting right next to him, receive their cards from Guhan, Zhao Shengmin explains that the ID card they receive now will be their all-purpose credential at Dragon Capital Academy. The card will store personal points, which are the Academy's universal currency, and they will need to access the secret realms provided by the Academy to buy weapons, potions, and so on. Lufan watches his card and sees that his points are 13,539, as Zhao says the initial points come from their entrance exam scores before a student raises his hand, stands up and says the difficulty of the entrance exam varies between provinces, and it's easier to get high scores in provinces with lower difficulties, so that's unfair. Zhang explains that the academy has obviously taken that into account. The entrance exam scores are divided by a difficulty coefficient based on the varying difficulties of each province's trials to determine the points, so the higher the difficulty of the trial, the smaller the difficulty coefficient. For example, this year's trial in the southern province was the hardest, so their scores will be divided by the smallest coefficient of 96. Lu Fan says it seems like this number is all the funds he has at Dragon Capital Academy before Zhao adds that these points are temporary and the freshman assessment in a month will determine their points once again, and the top 30 in the freshman assignment will be eligible to enter the blue class. Students in the blue class will receive many special privileges, such as applying for closed secret realms, exchanging specified skills and equipment, and the right to move into the villa area. The students behind Lu Fan discuss that they hadn't heard of the blue class before enrolling and discuss how it gives them a chance to move into the villa area, as Lu Fan remarks that since he's the one who holds the current first place, he has the qualification for the blue class. But if he loses this qualification later, he will have to move out villa number 1. Zhao chuckles and says he understands they all want to enter the blue class, but he has to tell them in advance that entering the blue class doesn't mean they can relax. Any student can challenge the members of the blue class in battle, and the blue members must win to retain their spot. If a blue member loses, they are forced to give up their spot to the challenger, and the members are not allowed to refuse any challenges. He swiftly pulls up a screen using a remote and explains that there are currently 30 members in the blue class, the top 30 in the entrance exam, with the first place belonging to the top scorer from the southern province, Dragon Tamer Lu Fan. Lu Fan gets up from his seat and shows himself to the students as the other students start gossiping about how he's a simp and must have a dragon to be a dragon tamer, but they try to not let him hear them since they'll be screwed if he really has a dragon. One says even an earth dragon is extremely powerful, so he's got to be the top scorer from the southern province. They wonder if he's an unqualified beneficiary, someone his family arranged to get in, since there are no scores or videos of Lu Fan's entrance exam they could find after searching up his name. In the audience, Chen Tianji asks Zhu when she wants to take him down and agrees to follow her orders, but she says his strength is still unclear, so they shouldn't rush and should probe him first. Little Qin asks Lu Fan if the vice principal pushing him forward like this isn't basically encouraging everyone to challenge him, so he plops back down on his seat and admits he didn't expect such a scenario, while Jian stays silent. After the freshman entrance ceremony, as they're leaving the auditorium, Lu Fan says it's time to upgrade Xiaofi and unlock her new form. He puts a hand in his pocket while walking and tells Little Qin and Xiaomin that they should go to the secret realm hall to see what secret realms the academy provides, but the martial artist suddenly calls his name and declares that he wants to challenge him while angrily pointing at him. Confused, Lu Fan confirms that he wants to challenge him, so the martial artist announces that Vice Principal Zhao just said blue members cannot refuse challenges, so he should compete with him if he really has the strength of the top scorer. He thinks that they can't see his entrance exam scores and videos, so if he really has strength, he must have passed the trial by summoning many sub-dragon species, which means he can surely win if he targets Lu Fan directly. Lu Fan tells Little Qin to stay back and accepts his challenge, so the martial artist admits he's got guts and bets 200 coins. Surprised by how low it is, Lu Fan remarks that that should be a lot for him and agrees to bet the same amount as well. As the students around them start gossiping about how Lu Fan is basically a summoning mage and excitedly get ready to observe the moves of the top scorer, Bratty Princess says this is the perfect opportunity to see what Lu Fan's got and tells Chen to keep a close eye on every move he makes. They decide to start on the count of 3 as Xiaomin confirms with Little Qin that he won't lose, so Little Qin and asks if she hasn't seen him in action and says she'll see soon. As the battle begins, the martial artist charges towards Lu Fan. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button, as today's like goal is 1,500 likes. Comment part 11 below for the next part, and also consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell to get notified as soon as a new video drops in the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.